is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Hey, Daddy, this is Dollar Beat.
BoxingVoice.com. No matter what nobody say, man, Spirit, can't nobody fuck with me, man. You know, I can't be fucked with, you know.
Dollar D Beyonce Productions.
Whether you pay to see me win, or you pay to see me lose, you're gonna pay. Fuck it, your kids still gotta eat. I don't have to watch, you know, any footage of a fighter. I mean, because I'm Floyd Mayweather, everybody gotta watch me. I knew eventually I was gonna have to fight Oscar. I feel like he was straight up and down, no special effects. BoxingVoice.com. How can Canelo have the biggest deal? Your deal is for $300 million, and I made $350 million just in one fight. And you're fighting on the app. BoxingVoice.com. I'm a king, okay? I eat a feast. Every time I eat a feast. And when I get up from the table, I don't give a fuck who get the leftovers. At the end of the day, follow my green print.
Dollar D Beyonce Productions.
BoxingVoice.com.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the boxing voice.
Good morning, TBV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, flagship Thursday in a couple of hours, but this morning we're up having a cup of Joe. We're going to talk some boxing. We're going to have a world-renowned trainer by the name of Joel Diaz who trains not only Alejandra Jimenez, but Joel or Joseph Diaz Jr., who also said he wants to come on the show Friday. Looks like we might have to do an evening show for some of these Friday guys, but since we're going to be having a world-renowned trainer, we're going to be talking about trainers. Talking about Floyd Mayweather Jr. being a changed man. And it's my belief that this all comes from Uncle Roger Mayweather. And I'll break down my reasons why. And I guess my co-host will try and do the same, if not opposing reasons. Can he be great? Is this all a fluke? Is he doing it for the gram? I mean, I just want you to know, Mike Tyson, the legendary Mike Tyson, has gone on record to state that he believes, and I quote, that Mayweather could be a great trainer. And we'll give you all the details as to why he believes that. But let me head on out to my co-host. Before I do that, the number to call in, 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 one time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Don't forget, add Nestor Gibbs on Skype if you're a daily Patreon show user. Let me head on out to...
It's me, Mario.
What up? Mario Munguia here. My man took that extra good morning. Yo, that got me a little pumped. I'm not gonna lie. Got Thursday flagship tonight. We got so many good guests for you. But we got good guests for you today, like right now. So we're gonna chop all this up. Floyd Mayweather Jr., comments from Mike Tyson. We're gonna chop it all up. What up, Doomy? What up, Enrique?
I'm the most brutal, most vicious, and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynch is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody like me. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from their claw. There's no one that can match.
Cheer. Good morning. We back at it again. Get your cup of coffee ready. If you're across the pond, get your cup of tea ready. We're going to talk some boxing. My man Floyd Mayweather, we went over it the other day when we first got a glimpse of it, and it looks like he's working with a couple of guys, man, and one that stuck out for me was Rolly. So, I'm starting to become more and more of a believer. It looks like he's diving into it, but what up with my man Cash?
What's up, man? Yeah, I just want to say I saw fight two.
Stay focused, stay working my dad.
I saw fight two.
Right, boxing voice.
Because if he comes to fight, then I'm gonna have to look for him.
I saw fight two.
I think you accurate.
Yes, yes, yes. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine. I mean, I think the same thing. Floyd Mayweather had an epiphany. Sometimes death brings you light, the gene keys, and you just find something inside of you, a purpose. And I'm sure that he found his purpose, especially calling little Rolando Rolly, which I became a fan of just of him being boisterous, of Ryan Garcia. So let's talk about it. Combination, Floyd Mayweather and who?
When you say combination, what you mean? What you mean by that?
Combination meaning we spoke about this, the corner man and the fighter, that combination, those two minds together, bringing greatness out of each other. The trainer sees the fighter knows what he can do. The trainer sees the potential and the going above and beyond. That combination. We see Rolly knock people out. Floyd is obviously.
I'm just happy that he put Rolly on social media. It was cool. It was cool. It was cool that it was his nephews and his son. But are they going to have a professional career? Are they going to become amateurs? Are they going to run 5 and 6 miles having, that Mayweather name? Do they really need to? I mean, I went through Floyd's son's Instagram. It's going to take a lot for him to run those miles and want to run those miles. He is a very well-off child. So, is he just going to do that? I am so ecstatic to see Rolly in the ring with him and he working with Rolly. And I just want to give you numbers. You can check it yourself. I would screen share it if it was a little more, but that's how bougie I am, that 1.2 million is nothing to me in 24 hours. Nothing, because this is what I told you he could do for his fighters. 24 hours, one of the videos, which we have right here. If you look to the left of our overlay, actually, it's right here. You look to the left of our overlay. He's working with Rolly in the TMT gym. They're working on uppercuts. And you can go through the comments. The people, casual, are saying, wow, I never seen a trainer man look as athletic as the fighter, if not more. And, what it brings is not only eyeballs, attention for Rolly, but it shows us that this is a different Mayweather, a changed Mayweather. And I'm with Enrique. I think it all has to do with Roger. The passing of Roger changed Floyd for the better. He's never done this. He's not deleting these posts either, so I love it. And I know guys are not going to get it. They're not going to get it. But a person as iconic as Floyd, I mean, think about Muhammad Ali being someone's trainer nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, that's what Floyd is.
This is the evolution of Floyd, right? I mean, we've seen evolutions of Floyd from the very beginning of his boxing career.
Definitely the second half.
Yeah, Pretty Boy Floyd, transformed into Money May, and then the passing of his uncle now. And I got to think that Mayweather just during this time of COVID, especially, had a lot of time to just think and reflect. Social distancing and all that. And when you got time to reflect, man, you start thinking about how am I going to leave a legacy? And of course, his legacy is cemented. But I think that he wants to take a little bit of what his uncle did, and pass it on to fighters now that are going to be the future champions. And you just said it. He's in shape as much as the fighter, and that's important because when you're training. You've been all over the country, Ness, and you see some coaches kind of vary in shapes and sizes. You know what I'm saying? Some are chubby, some are, and it's not that they can't coach, but when it gets down to it and you're moving in the ring, you're doing mitts, you're doing a lot of stuff, you want to be in shape. So, Mayweather's in super shape, super shape, and he has great boxing IQ. And it's showing that he's really, really interested. I thought it was going to pretty much just stop at that. But he's posting, and it's showing that he's more and more interested in becoming that type of trainer.
Yo, those gloves were fly, by the way. Them watermelon cuts, they were dope. But yeah, man, you said it yourself. Listen, he went from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather. Now he's gonna.
Maybe it's the weather.
All right. So We're definitely back live. Take it away, Enrique.
Look, I was saying combination. I was saying you could compare all these great fighter trainers like Freddie Roach, Customado, Emmanuel Stewart, all those guys' names on and on and on. But Floyd Mayweather is the fight. He is also labeled TBE, also labeled the best ever pound for pound, you know. And when I say combination, pulling Rolly out, you know, media couldn't pull Rolly out. Floyd pulled Rolly out. Now him in that corner excites me because I've seen what he done. And Floyd's a fighter. And, you know, he knows what it takes to beat TBE. He is a father figure per se, because if let's say Sugar Burt was alive, right? If I'm saying his name right, or Doug Fisher took you under his wing and said, Ness, look, this is the way you should go. You're doing everything right, your personality, but go in this direction with it. And you agree with that, you will be greater. You know what I'm saying? So I think Floyd in fighters' ears, young fighters' ears at that, with a 0 on his column, knows how to keep that 0. Not saying that his fighters will remain undefeated and duplicate what he has, but I believe in it.
It's a long time though, man, before I see him corner in a corner. You know
Really?
what I mean? Yeah, I don't see him corner in the corner, and like, I mean, probably I'd say not even 2021. Like, I'd say
disagree. I disagree. I think that if he continues to work with a guy like Rolly, why would Rolly not want him in his corner? You think Floyd's himself is gonna say, "Nah, Rolly, go in there with your dad. I don't think I'm ready."
I think the dad would be like going there with Floyd.
Nah, I'm not sure. Rolly specifically, I don't know, and I wouldn't call it. But I would say though, look, Floyd to me this whole topic's about is he changed? He seems changed to me in a lot of ways with different interviews and stuff. But he's a competitor at the end of the day. I think he wants to take his own version of a kid up. You know, Rolly could be a very special case where he does allow the father there, but at the same time is that barrier that keeps the distance, that knows what it's like to have the father in the corner, knows how, you know, stressful it can be, knows the impact between the relationship, knows that it can sour like that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like he could be not just a second, but like this mentor in the background that's I don't want to make him seem out to be some god or something, but Enrique said it best. TBE, bro. That comes with a lot of knowledge.
Yo, he is a god in boxing. You know, Bertie McGirt said any man could throw the towel over his shoulder and call himself a trainer. Why can't TBE, not any man, throw himself a towel over the shoulder and see things even beyond what a trainer sees, because he's been in there under the lights.
So it looks like we agree him taking the trainer route. Let's talk about what type of fighters are in the Mayweather gym that might mesh well, or he might be picked up under the wing of Mayweather. We got Rolly. Maurice Lee is one of those fighters as well that's in the Mayweather camp. Like, what other fighters are in there that you see him training? Because he wants to start with guys that don't know much.
Maurice Lee, we're going to have Maurice Lee on Friday. We'll have Joel Diaz, the trainer, on in about 40 minutes. We'll have Eddie Reynoso, the trainer of Canelo, today at 7:30. Jack Reese, the famous referee, 8 o'clock. Chris Colbert, 8:30.
If you are on Patreon, make sure to get your questions in. The posts are up. And if you're not on Patreon, damn, don't even worry about it, because we already had them. This is the future. And we done already talked about Reynoso. And remember that crazy thing he said? Oh, no, you don't, because you're just finding out because you're on YouTube. Go to patreon.com/The Boxing Voice. Buy us a cup of coffee. Rock with us. You know, we're here every morning.
So going back to cornering, so what's up, Mario? What's your opinion on that? You see him cornering a fighter. You, Ness, you had the opposite to say too. So when do you see Mayweather sitting in the corner, you know, giving a fighter some water and shouting out instructions?
I already told you. I see it happening as quick. Like, if I'm Rolly, I mean, come on, dude. Like, you're wilding. Like, I love the sport. Imagine I'm Rolly. Imagine I'm in Rolly's position. Imagine I'm Rolly yesterday and I'm fucking training with Floyd side by side. He's telling me what I'm doing right and wrong. Why won't I want to come back to the gym tomorrow? Why didn't I ask him before I left Floyd? We working tomorrow? We working tomorrow, champ? Coach, we working? So why wouldn't I continue that? Like, what's going to make Rolly say, don't work with me, Floyd? Don't come to my corner. Like, you asking the wrong question, bro. Like, is Floyd going to have time to be in Rolly's corner should be the question. Not is he going to work a corner, because everybody going to want him in that corner, man. Everybody.
Okay. But that's the question, though.
That's the question.
Alex is asking is because to me, it's not about whether he wants to or not. It's about whether he will or won't he. For me, to start working with Rolly behind the scenes, but let his father kind of go out there and corner him for the next, I don't know, year and a half, because those fights are developmental fights. I could see that. And then him coming along, but always being that presence in the background, being at his fights, I don't see him cornering right away. I don't. But at the same time, could he? Absolutely. It's a lot of factors that go into it with a guy like Floyd. I mean, you're talking about a businessman, an entrepreneur. You're talking about a dude who has his hand in everything. Go ahead, Alex.
You spin the question to kind of insinuate that I wouldn't agree with having a Mayweather in my corner, bro. Anybody would want Mayweather in the corner. That's not even a question, bro. What I'm saying is that, do you see Mayweather making that move and saying, you know what, I'm gonna start cornering, I'm gonna do it. I think
it's up to the trainer, bro. Because not the trainer, the fighter. Like Rolly, right, has to ignite that in Floyd. Like I said, session was over last night. Before he's out, like, yo, coach. Call him, coach. Look, I did it all the time. I train with professional trainers without having to pay them, because I showed enthusiasm. I showed that I really wanted to get it in. So they gave me their time, even though they got to go train with Wilder, even though they got to go train with Keith Thurman or Danny. Like, they did something with me. And you have to show that to Floyd. If Rolly's asking him, yo, we back at it tomorrow, Floyd? What we doing next, coach? What time we going? You running tonight? If you show him, I think that, he's going to take that extra interest in you. But if he's not going to come to you and get and try to force feed you knowledge if you not seeking it.
I see where you're coming from. So the spark got to come from the fighter. I see. I mean, look, I've had relationships, with a few coaches, coming up through the amateurs, and you spark up that relationship, and there's that dynamic between fighter and coach. And look, I think Mayweather's always liked Rolly. I mean, whenever I've seen clips on the internet where it's like, yo, it's time for somebody to get dogged, yo, Rolly, get in the ring. You know what I'm saying? He'll call, yo, put him in with Rolly. So, the relationship's been there already. I just was wondering where his mindset was Mayweather at. Does he really just want to just go in and start, cornering a fighter right away, instead of just, kind of gaining more, how do you say, not knowledge, because he has boxing knowledge, but gaining more costumbre.
Accustomed.
Yeah, accustomed to it, being accustomed to the whole dynamic, because it's a little different, you know what I'm saying?
I think it's exciting for him, man. It's like a retired man, like Bob Arum said, he's glad he didn't retire. He's living long,
I agree. You're right. Yeah,
so he may be bored, bro. Floyd done everything, and the only thing that excites him is when them cameras are flashing. An astronaut could make it to the moon, come back to Earth, and just be depressed because he achieved the highest. And I think that Floyd achieved the highest, bro. He's friends with Warren Buffett, and investing that money. Same dude that came from Rapid, Michigan, So he's achieved.
I want to say something from the chat. King Nello, a.k.a. Jemmy, says the same thing that I said, same thing that Doomy says. And I think that's what needs to be highlighted, because that's what we were very critical of. 23 million followers and not to post your own fighter is an issue. And I like what Jemmy is saying, that he likes that it was Rolly he was training, one of his fighters. Now, outside of him training Rolly, I like that he also went the next step and put it on his social media. He put 2 posts with Rolly. One did 1.2 and growing. The other one's already at almost 800 $100,000. You can't pay for that exposure. You can't
Nah,
buy
you
that.
can't.
Like that's and it's genuine boxing exposure because they're there for Floyd Mayweather and they seeing you. You know, I just hope and pray that he continues to see that he is moving in the right direction and doing good, not only for his company, you know, because this is only better for Rolly when Rolly goes to sell tickets, but he's doing better for the entire sport. You know, I had a completely different show scheduled. It was posted. It was about Andy and Eddie and different negotiations about getting that white fight, but this is better for the sport. Because how many people... We just had a fighter tell us, like, he took a one-way ticket to Vegas just to make it happen. So, you know, they're going to come seeking. They're going to come seeking Floyd.
I'll make 2 points off of your point real quick. One, I'm glad that he's not lackadaisical, but man, what's the word I'm looking for? Like nonchalant with his Instagram. I'm glad he's not. Man, if he's going to be a trainer, those fighters got to earn them posts. You know what I mean? Rolly's got one on his Instagram that's got almost 75,000 right now and growing. You know what I'm saying? And he has a few that have like hundreds of thousands, right? But most of his posts do between 6 and like 12,000. So it's not like a situation where I think like he's got to put everybody on. You know, he put his kids on. That's understandable. And then he put Rolly on. And that's, you know, definitely a prospect that everybody's excited about. You know, the man's 11-0. I think he's got all 11 KOs, if I'm not mistaken. 11 KOs. I think he's every single one of his. No, wait, nope. I just checked. Never mind. He's got 10 KOs. And at the end of the day, this is all about competition. Like Enrique said, this man is a competitor. He competed at the highest level, and not just that, he was doing it since he was a kid. Like we all understand what it's like, you know, watching fighters for our entire life, right? But to be that fighter in and out, like, I'm sure that one-on-one thing you miss, it's different than baseball, it's different than football, it's different than basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a thing where it's that drive in you that wants to compete against another man. And get ready to laugh at me, because I'm gonna compare it to like my fantasy football. Like, I know that sounds stupid as shit because it's on completely different levels, but that drive and that feeling, like, I'm not those players. I don't know any of them. You know what I'm saying? But I still got that feeling every Sunday when I watch my guys out there scoring me touchdowns, getting me yards, you know, my defense is getting interceptions and shit. Like, all of that makes me feel like, whoa, I put this team together. I did this. And that is like 0.0001%, I'm sure, of the feeling that Floyd or any other trainer would get from producing a champion. You know what I'm saying? Especially from scratch. That's a huge thing.
I'm gonna give you
real quick. Gotta ring the alarm. You know what I'm saying? We gotta ring the alarm. You know what I mean? Even though we dropped, we had 306, so we losing, but we gaining. You know what I mean? Ring the alarm. We got Dominic in Seattle that upgraded. He must have got his shirt that I've been owing him for like a year. And shout out to Keem in Florida that upgraded, man. Thank you for believing in the movement. Listen, I'm with y'all. I want to take this time of the show to just segue to a inner Patreon topic. As soon as we started, we had DBX in the UK say thank God that we're back on Patreon. Obviously, yesterday, you know, April 29th, we were live. Obviously, he didn't have a good experience, but simultaneously,
right, I was going to wonder why you say that.
Simultaneously, Canelo was like, damn, no maintenance today, meaning he's unhappy that we're back on Patreon. So I guess, what are your guys' thoughts on yesterday's experience? Where are you at with it? And, we'll give Canelo time to type and DBX time to type so that they can kind of elaborate on what it is they meant when we opened up the stream.
You know what's funny that you say that, and I'm not going to say which Patreon said this because this was a private conversation through DM, so, you know, I don't like giving conversations out like that unless the person says it's okay. But somebody else said that they for them, you know, I think it was the chat had a lot to do with it. I think that just the sheer volume of other people And I think there's also this thing that we've created where it's like this family unit within Patreon. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this thing, it's this camaraderie, right? And it's for us like a group together. Like, I've never once referred to any listener as a fan. Like, you're not a fan of boxing for sure, but a listener to me has always been family. Why? Because they make up this show. You know, look at yesterday, bro. Go back and check the times. I think CYP and J-Mac had more talking time than any of us combined. You know what I mean? And it was still a great show, and it was amazing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's just my take. I think that's probably what it is.
Yo, I want to go back to Rolly and Floyd, because I want to say. I want to say that I seen a Teofimo Lopez post of Rolly, and I was like, damn, Rolly's going the wrong direction. You know, quarantine, he don't want to talk boxing. You're supposed to like reach a personal place in your life. Like, yo, when I get through this, I'm going to be world champ. When I get through this, like, you're supposed to have goals set because you're on lockdown. You know what I mean? This dude seemed like he was in the wrong direction, wrong path. And here comes Floyd.
Right.
Gets him back in the gym and gets him a 1.5 or whatever amount of likes. What should that do to Rolly's thoughts?
Motivation.
You know?
That's what I'm saying.
Motivation, 100%.
He should be saying, Coach, what we doing? You running tonight? We back at it tomorrow? Like, I would be so hungry, bro. Look, yo, I've trained with people, and it ain't even been on that level, and I've already had those, man, I wish I was 20 years younger thoughts, you know what I mean? And I could just imagine what it is for a fighter, a professional fighter who's looked up to Floyd all their life, got the opportunity to sign with Floyd, and now this man is training you. It doesn't even matter if he doesn't corner you, honestly, because sometimes, you know, what you do in the gym is going to show in the ring.
Yeah, but you know, the one thing too, and I don't know if this is like, I've never been in the gym with like professional fighters at that level. Like, yes, I've worked out with Jerry Montes, and I've worked out with a few other heavyweights that had professional records, but none of them ranked higher than, I don't know, maybe 65 in the world, other than Jerry. You know, I think he was 35 in the world or 25 in the world, something like that. But anyway, the point is that, you know, like Ness said it a little while ago, you know, I didn't have to pay professional trainers because of my enthusiasm. And I was curious when you said that, and I was going to wait till off air, but I'm just going to address it now. It's funny you said that because I never knew how to approach that subject. Like, you're that type of personality, you know what I'm saying? And that's a good thing, right? You're going to go, you're going to ask, you're a curious person by nature. You're a journalist by nature. I think I'm a writer first and a journalist second, always have been. So for me, I would see the professional trainers training the professionals, and I was always scared to ask, yo, could I get in? Yo, could I get work? Because I didn't know it's like a thing where like, nah, bro, like they're paying me, like, you know what I mean? So how do you broach that question? Like, I've always wondered, you know?
It's funny because you and Doomsday are exactly alike, man. Y'all sit there on the outside like, yo, nah, man, you know, he's working with so-and-so. And I'm like, fuck that. Yo, coach. What up? And he's like, come on, Ness. And then Doomy want to come over there. Hey, coach, help me. You want to wrap my hands? And it's like, yo, dog, you got it. Yo, that phrase is so old. Closed mouth don't get fed. Closed mouth don't get fed. If you ask, bruh, man, I got to work out in Wilder's gym. I tell you, I almost lost 20 pounds in one day, man. It's like, you could work if you want to work. You got to open your mouth. You know what I'm saying? These guys, they could have sparred Keith. When Keith was getting ready for, what was it, Danny? His cousin could have sparred Keith and got nervous. You know what I'm saying? So, like, bro, if you want work, it's there. All the ride there. He's like, yo, where this boy? Imagine I can spar with him. Imagine I can spar with him. Imagine. As soon as I get there, I'm like, yo, Dan, if you need anybody, he's willing to spar. He's like, really? He's like, yo, nah, man, I don't know. I ain't sparring 8 months, da-da-da. It's like, bro, closed mouth don't get fed.
That's to throw you in there with a pro real quick.
Bruh, yo, listen, he just wants video of somebody else not there. By Sean Porter.
That's not it.
But he believed in me.
That's not it. That's not it at all. That's not it at all.
I'm joking, bro. I'm joking.
That's not it at all. But if you if a person tells me, yo, this is what I want, it's like I took Donnell, one of our listeners, Donnell, he said this is what he want, let's go. And I took him and he got the spar in Dongo. Like, this is what you want, then let's get it, let's make it happen. Like, why you gonna sit on the outside beating up on little kids in your gym? That ain't gonna let you know nothing. When he got in there with Ndongo, everything changed. Like, damn, man, his jab, this, that, and that. And what it did, it motivated him in the right way. He started working more. Some people don't. See, I love tough love, man. Like, the honesty is the best policy, man. All those phrases is real, bro. Like, if they keep it real with you, that should motivate you. You know, and if you slacking and they tell you, then you got to pick it up. And, you know, that only happens with real work, man. And Rolly's receiving that. You know, he's got the ultimate eye. I'm not saying Floyd is the end-all, be-all, but...
It's a motivation, though. It's a motivation.
But imagine how good you guys think you are, right? We think we're so good from the outside. Imagine a dude that is on the inside, right? Has been on the inside for over 20 years at the highest level, and now can also be on the outside for you the fighter. So it's a thing of beauty, man. I'm telling you, it's a thing that will definitely grow this sport. If people, you know, because they got to take advantage. The same story, I can't even remember what was the fighter's name, which is sad because it was a memorable story. But the fact that people just go to Vegas to make it happen in boxing, the way they just come to New York to make it happen in as an actor or in theater,
in showbiz.
That gives me, like, if I was a fighter and I see Floyd now literally in his gym training, I'm making my way over there. It's like, see, I come from a different era, though. I come from the era where you thought you was hot, you made a mixtape, you had 1,000 of them shits in your trunk, and you was giving it to everybody who you thought could put you in position to be a rapper. So, like, that's, I always resort back to the demo tape. Like, bruh, get out there and make your demo. If Floyd is out there, that's an A&R on the highest level. Go show him what you got. Show him what you got. Maybe you ain't gonna get there, but you could be hitting the bag while he in there with Rolly. You make enough noise, he gonna turn one day. You know what I'm saying? He gonna look at you one day. And then if you don't get his attention, open your freaking mouth.
Yeah. Yo, do you believe, and I think I would, go to a fight just because Floyd Mayweather's the corner man?
I mean, I don't know about go.
First one.
I'm sure there are fans out there that would go just because
it's gonna get coverage. That's what I'm saying for the fighter. Imagine Rolly's first fight with Floyd and yeah, you might get that negative Rocky IV coverage. You know, and by negative I mean, you know, Floyd's puppet, Floyd's pupil, Floyd's
Rocky V.
You know, Floyd's whatever. Thank you, Mario. Floyd's whatever is
Floyd
successful.
Floyd want to win. He better win.
Floyd's protege. Floyd, Floyd Mayweather clone. Like, you might get that, but guess what else you gonna get? The freaking money. The freaking money and the popularity. So don't be egotistical. Don't fall victim to the right now, because right now you on an elevator. While everybody is coming up the mountain, you know, not only with their whole gym bag and all their extra equipment, you on the elevator with Floyd going straight up all the floors till you get to that last stop of professional superstar status. So take the ride, man.
And Al Heyman is right there.
Yo, I literally just got in my head when you said that an image of Floyd, like, yo,
Willy
you
Wonka.
knocked him down, try knocking me down. Like,
Yo, I remember that. Hey, yo, Tommy, I ain't hear no
I
bell.
got the image of Willy Wonka in that elevator going up, all the way up.
Yo, because that's, yo, for Rolly, I mean, who else is in that gym like Badu, but obviously he got Lou Boy DeValle, you know, but even a few clips of you and Floyd doing pad work in the gym is still good for Badu. Do your rounds. Go ahead.
But guess what else happens? Guess what else happens when you start working with fighters like this? Then you start attracting fighters to come to your gym.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
saying.
It's just like recruitment in football. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have that number one, and I'm not like a big college football
Kevin
guy. I don't really know.
Kevin Costner, if you build it, they will come.
Exactly. Yep, 100%. And so it's like a recruitment thing. You know what I mean? Like right now, there are a lot of fighters that would rather sign with Top Rank, that would rather sign with Golden Boy, that would rather sign with PBC. You know, and they want to be there because of the money and the exposure and all that stuff, right? But in this situation, Floyd's leading them to the promised land.
Enrique brought up a good point too with the, you know, where people tune in just to see Floyd Mayweather like corner him. Like, hell yeah, I think that's I didn't even think about that. Like, that's gonna be a big reason why whoever he's cornering sells more tickets. I don't know how long that sustains itself. I mean, but like for the first few fights, whoever he's cornering, people are gonna tune in, not just for the fighter, but for Floyd, because they're gonna want to know if Floyd's doing a good job as a trainer.
Doomy, thanks for that compliment, but you gotta respect the hand raise system. You see?
Yo, I forgot though. Honestly, I know it seems like I'm setting it up to make it look bad on Doomy. I honestly forgot now. So whatever, it'll come back in a few seconds. Like,
go ahead, Doomy.
Yeah.
It's all right, you know what I'm saying. That's why I sometimes I don't get mad when you Shinobi me, because I know
Shinobi sometimes.
Because not like sometimes y'all Shinobi me and I just sit quiet in my corner.
Yo,
and shit,
Enrique,
like,
you gotta resize.
Get what you're gonna say, so I'm like, fuck it.
You gotta resize because your mic gets it gets. Yeah, you see?
Nah, it's the lighting. It's the light. It's wherever the light is, and I only got one source.
Yeah, bro, you look like you got punched in the cheek.
Yeah, it looked like your cheek, like you Elephant Man. They took a whole piece of your cheek out.
Oh, cause this right here, like, boom.
Oh shit, that thing just popped out of nowhere.
Yo, it's all on your lips. Don't lick your lips right now.
Yo, no homo.
Yo, but it looks fly though. Honestly, I should have did it.
Yo.
Look, but I believe that it's a good thing. I ain't gonna go negative. Like, yo, he want attention. Nah, he's really, that's his blood. Fight, boxing.
Yeah, man.
You know,
I'm tuning in. I swear, like he could be fucking cornering somebody I never heard of. And
who's on that stable? Let me see if they .com does any good. You know, Floyd Mayweather Promotions. Yeah. Let's see what they got. I know Ellaby is out here also doing interviews though on his on their Instagram, on Mayweather Promotions Instagram. So like, you know, it's funny though that, what do we say, about 6 weeks ago we got criticized for interviews. Now the entire world is jam-packing interviews, huh?
There's nothing else to do.
Nothing else to do.
It's a way to socialize.
I'm just ahead of the curb. I'm ahead of the curb. You know, greatness always gets criticized before it gets praised. Feel me?
My man, we're dropping them gems.
Socrates bars over here.
I'm just keeping it Jeezy, man. I'm keeping it 100 Jeezy. Where's the fighters at, Floyd?
Yo, but in the meantime, you look for that. Yo, again, like Mayweather, bro.
I'm gonna screen share this just to show what they do. Like, what is it that they do with their website? Let's see here. We got boom. But you could talk while I screen share.
It's just when Enrique said that, I'm like, damn, he could be cornering fucking Joe Schmo with no fights, and people are gonna tune in. Like,
yeah, and
it's a huge thing.
It's not to Shinobi you or nothing, but it's not to just look at Floyd. It's to see his work with his fighters. Like, oh, okay, I see the fighter. Okay, I see his fighter. You don't even know who his opponent is. Like, oh, his fighter's fast. Oh, his fighter's slick. Oh, okay. You know what I mean?
Yo, let me tell you something, Marie. We're going to be looking for the next Floyd Mayweather for a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because those are generational talents. So we always going to have our eyes out for the next Roy, the next Floyd, the next Ali, you know?
But that ain't going to stop people from calling everyone the next Floyd. You know what I'm saying? Like, right or wrong, everybody. It's going to keep happening throughout time. But listen, if y'all remember.
Let me go.
Because I just remembered. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
If y'all remember, I just remember right now that remember when Floyd Mayweather had his first Mayweather Promotions on Showtime? Dude, that thing was packed. Jesse Vargas was the main event. If I'm not mistaken, he wasn't fighting anybody. Jesse Vargas was relatively unknown, and that place was packed just for the chance to see a Mayweather promotion. So Enrique's right.
Nah, it's always like that. They sell out Sam's Town like that, you know? It's always a little party in Sam's Town, even though Sam's Town isn't, a bunch of tickets. But I'm going to go back to the screen share just to start from the bottom. They have no heavyweights at Mayweather Promotions, so the biggest they got is Vidal Riley, who just signed from the UK, best known for being what is that YouTuber's name? KSI's trainer. KSI's trainer, and then they got Andrew Tabiti, best known for World Boxing Super Series and Sparring with AJ. At 175, they got a former world champ and probably current at the time, some sort of interim interim, either WBA or WBC, maybe. I'm not sure, but Badu Jack. So that being said, now Andrew Tabiti, I don't know any big time trainer. I know his father did a lot of pad work with Tabiti, and that made Tabiti very popular. But I don't know that Tabiti trains with any big time trainer. So what I'm doing is showing you any void that Floyd can fill. Maybe he can fill the trainer void for Tabiti. Vidal Riley, I don't know, but because what I mean by I don't know is I don't know who's his trainer. But because he's so unknown to America, he could use it. He better take it if Floyd offers it. Lonnie B. Thompson, the 175-pounder, best known. I think he just got an upset, to be honest with you. Didn't he just get an upset? I think he just beat Ustaki. But he's also best known for losing to Kovalev. He could use that popularity because he's like journeyman status. Not journeyman, but he got that face and like that look of it. You know what I'm saying? He got like 2 losses, and he just has that look. He could use the popularity and the influx of money that it comes with it. Jay Leon Love, I don't even know that he's still fighting.
Man, I haven't heard of Jay Leon in a while.
And I'm going to be honest, I don't even know that it's, we need to see where Jay Leon is at before Floyd invests that time into that. Now, Kevin, the second coming Newman, he might be worth it. I believe if it's not him, it's Liddell Miller, who's also with Floyd, that holds the win over the current IBF champion Jamel Herring with Top Rank. So one of these,
I don't see. I mean, combo breaker, real quick, right? Just to interrupt you, but like, I really don't see Floyd training these bigger guys.
What do you mean, bigger guys?
Yeah, like
weight,
like heavyweight.
Like
yeah,
the weight?
like light heavies.
This is 168 with Jay Leon and Ronald Graville, Lionel. But this is his stable. So if you go to 47, which is really 40, because Malik Iceman Hawkins has a good train. I doubt he's going to be able to leave or want to leave Calvin Ford. I don't even know this guy, Sharon Beck. I don't know who that is. You know what I mean? Then you go to Maurice Lee, who's making himself popular by self-proclaiming that he's fighting Earl. Juan Heralde. I don't know none of these other guys. Kenny Robles, Richardson Hitchens. He's good, but is he gonna leave Lenny Wilson? Is he gonna relocate to Vegas? So I think this is the guy, Ladarius Miller. But is he gonna leave whoever he's with? Because I think Miller may be undefeated or just have 1 loss. He's just not that appealing for TV. Then you got Rolly, who he was working with, who does have upside. So far he picked the right one, right? He picked the one that gets the knockouts, that's a little outspoken. You know what I mean?
He's the one, I think, honestly, man.
Me too.
I think Rolly would be.
Well, technically speaking, the one is Gervonta Davis. That's his name, Gervonta the One Davis, who's also with Floyd, but also with Calvin Ford.
Yeah, I don't see none of that. That he's sticking with his coach. That is not happening. Floyd, he said it best himself, man. He's gonna grow with whoever the new fighters are. He's gonna grow with whoever he's gonna grow with. I think that's gonna be the best route. Rolly just happens to be one of my favorite picks in that whole stable because he's a lower weight class, which I see Floyd, training those guys. For what reasons you say? I mean, it just gets a little tougher, man, to train these bigger guys, man. And I'm not saying that a small guy can't train a big guy. You know what I'm saying? I had a friend of mine who used to hold mitts for me. He was like freaking 5'2", and he did just fine. But it just presents different dynamics. You know what I'm saying? Who's to say that he won't train heavier guys later on? But I see him sticking to these lower weight classes. And Rolly is just legit, man, because Rolly has history, too, with the top guys right now. He's been in sparring sessions with some of these guys, so he's done very well. And Rolly, honestly, he's a mean son of a, he's a mean dude in the ring, bro. And you could ask Teofimo Lopez about that. You know what I'm saying? And not that he iced Teofimo, but like Teofimo will tell you about his character. Like he like hurting you. And Floyd adding that little bit of like boxing IQ and defense to that real raging style that he got, man. I see a good combination right there.
Yo, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So I don't see Kevin Ford and Tank Davis separating at all. But yeah, Rolly's the right pick. I discovered Rolly.
Malik Hawkins is there, and Malik Warren is there.
Damn, chop shop.
Hawkins.
Yo,
yeah.
I found Rolly based off of Ryan and Devin Haney. You know, that's where I discovered him. He just didn't get the deals.
Well, what deal he was supposed to get?
Yeah.
I don't even know how he just got under my radar. I discovered Rolly through Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Maybe he sparred both of them.
They sparred.
But what I'm saying, dog, I don't follow sparring events. I'm just saying.
No,
it came across me.
It came across your social media, the little beef.
That's all. It ain't like, yo, I'm following this and that. Oh, yeah, Malik Hawkins. Nah, I don't know who Malik Hawkins is.
Oh, chill.
Not a disrespectful way. I heard the name. I just don't know who he is.
So Joel Diaz is ready. We just waiting for him to throw us the blicky so we can add him to the visual. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna put him on Cammy like we did Mauricio. But yeah, man, if you haven't done so already, shoot us your question for Joel Diaz, Coach Joel Diaz, on our post. Ask Coach Joel Diaz a question on Patreon only. Patreon.com/theboxingvoice. Who's his biggest fighter? He's got a lot of Eastern Europeans. I know Mario done the research.
Yo, I want to ask him about Madrimov. Like, to me, that's a dude who, he's got all types of skills, bro. Madrimov, the last time I saw him was actually when we were all in Dallas. We were watching it at dinner on the phone. And, some people criticized him about not getting the dude out early enough. But he was beating him the whole time. Like, that was. I mean, it was a lot of it was unnecessary beating. You know what I mean? I don't put that on him as much as the ref.
That was the DAZN fight, right? Under the Franchon Cruz fight, right?
No, under the Mikey Garcia fight. Oh. Yeah, Mikey Garcia and shoot. God, I just forgot who he fought. I mean, I know who he fought. I just can't. Who was it? Not Jesse Vargas. It was.
So what's the orders?
Josecito.
What's the orders?
Let's go. Doomy, Mario, Enrique, and Ness. Doomy, Mario, Enrique.
Damn, which one is it? It's two Joel Diaz popped up. Oh boy. Oh boy.
You are training my Russian Ruski Israel Madrimov. No, he's from Uzbekistan actually. Oh yeah, is that northern Russia? Yeah, Uzbekistan. That's the whole.
Yeah, man, he's only 5-0 with 5 KOs right now, but man, I'm just wondering.
He's tough.
Yeah, he looks the part for real.
He's a tough guy. I didn't know Joel was training him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope this is him. I should go with the one that says India.
That's right.
That sounds right for him.
Right.
No, Indio. I mean by Indio, California, dog.
California. I know what you was talking about.
Nah, I didn't. I thought you.
You was telling that he was Indio.
Yeah, yo, Indio.
Yeah. That's that Puerto Rican
There's no business like show business. This is why we need a producer, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we need to continue to grow on Patreon. So all this stuff could be happening in the background. Then we'll have a lovely lady voice come in and say, Nestor, we're ready. We have Joel Diaz, trainer, on the line. And we're like, boop, little P, he flies right in. You know, nice.
Have ourselves our own little Jamie.
You know what I mean? Who's Jamie?
From Joe Rogan, his producer.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yo, that man is on spot with research. Just like, and
we can definitely use a producer in the backy. So let's see. I'm trying both of these, Joel. We're going to have them both on. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?
He's had a couple
not the words.
Who's it?
He was singing the wrong Michael Jackson song.
I just gave you the mic voice. That shows you how nasty I am. You know what I'm saying? Damn, nothing's happening. And he sent me like a screenshot of his thing, but it doesn't show the actual name. I'm going to send him the link. How about that?
Yo, Joel, a man from Michoacán.
Yeah, man. I remember, oh man, what was it? I think in Laredo, I got to see Joel when he was training. Not Diego. Was it Diego? Yeah, it was Diego. Yeah.
Diego.
Yeah.
Diego what? Diego Sanchez?
No, Diego.
Chavez.
Damn it, what's his? Nah. Damn it, what's his last name? He has his brother too, a younger brother.
Yeah. Oh, Magdaleno.
Magdaleno. I always enjoy watching him fight, man. I always thought they were a good team together too.
So I sent it to him. I don't know. Let's see if this is gonna work. Cause I mean, I typed his name. I mean, his number in, but he's got 2 different Skypes come up. So we're just gonna have to wait on him.
Gotta hit him on a satellite phone. Satellite.
Yeah, phone, bro.
Hold on.
Narco style. Yo, but and maybe he could shed some light too on the idea of Floyd Mayweather. I'm sure he can. As a trainer, what it could look like. The successes of very successful fighters becoming trainers. But I don't know, man. It's like one of those things to me where I don't know. I don't think there's a limitation to what Floyd can do as a trainer. I really don't. I think the limitation is going to come with how much time he really has to give. You know what I'm saying? Like, the dude's a busy guy.
If he puts as much work as he did in boxing into training,
oh man!
Like, if you put that type of mental discipline into training, I mean, he has it, bro. He has it. It's all going to be about his interest and his patience. Really, is what I'm really like concerned about. That whole venture into training is just his patience. Because let me tell you something. Sometimes you literally just want to just fucking walk away from some guys. Like, and like, you're human too. Sometimes you walking into the gym with your own fucking problems, and then you got to deal with their shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's a good point.
And then you gotta go ahead and be the best you can be for that individual, and put your feelings aside, because like, deep down in your heart, especially for the coaches that care, that your fighter's gonna go in and fight. And if you take fighting as serious as you should, that you got to do your best so that your guy don't get hurt. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
You got to put up with some of this stuff. Sometimes you got to put up with some of the nagging, or the not showing up, or the talking back, or he don't want to listen. He wants to overwork, or he doesn't want to work enough. And it's like, it's a constant management. It's not even. See, some people think, coach is not just holding mitts. A coach has to literally transform your mind. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that that's necessary. Some guys don't need too much tune up in their mind, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? But some guys need that elevation. You know what I'm saying? Mentally. Some need it more than others. Some need a physical elevation more than a mental elevation. So it's like, it's a constant babying, in the sense that you got to take care of that person. Like,
Alex, hate to interrupt, but as you can see, we have our guest. It is Joel Diaz, Coach Joel Diaz on the line. Coach, how are you? Good morning. Thanks to you for taking out the time to come on the program, obviously, and talk a little bit of boxing with us. You might want to adjust your camera. You are being slightly cut off. But, yeah, man, good morning. Guys, he is waking up early on the West Coast over there, so you can tell he is a boxing fan. Good morning, Joel.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to me. It's early, but I always wake up early anyways. I'm up at 5:30 in the morning anyways.
Hey, good morning, man. Yeah, I like that backdrop, man. You got some a nice little selection in the background there.
From here to there, everywhere. It's just
loaded. Got the good stuff.
It's awesome.
Ready for quarantine.
So, obviously, we have...
We don't go anywhere. We stay home.
Yeah.
It's part of the essential businesses.
Exactly.
So, Joel, how is COVID treating you and I guess your business as a trainer?
Well, obviously, not only me, it's affecting everybody around the world. I'm a boxing trainer, and I have a big team. I have a big stable, and right now there's nothing. Honestly, there's nothing in the horizon. There's no plans of fights. We're just hanging in there, and Since it started all the way to the end of May, I was scheduled every weekend with fights, and all of a sudden I'm just enjoying some of the things I didn't enjoy before because I travel so much. I'm always traveling, and most of the little bit of time that I had in between, I enjoy with my family. But now I'm just enjoying the moment. Even though obviously it's affecting me. I mean, there's no income coming in, but thank God that in the past we did a little bit of something. We had some savings and stuff just to hang in there. But other than that, life is good. We're just following the guidelines and hanging in there.
So I guess I'm going to start it off. After me, you guys can go and pick up the rotation. I want to ask, my first official question is going to be, how much has life changed for you since the Timothy Bradley, Joel Diaz, Coach Joel Diaz, Timothy Bradley till today?
Well, how it changed, it opened up a lot of opportunities. Because when I was with Bradley, basically I was with Bradley and had a camp of Bradley, my priority, and a little bit of fighters in between. After Bradley, it just opened up a lot of spaces for a lot more fighters. Started bringing in a lot of fighters were approaching me and coming to my camp, and promoters, managers started sending some elite fighters to me, and now I got a great camp. My brother Antonio, after he retired, started training him to be my right-hand guy, and along with Antonio, we work together. It's not only me. My camp is formed of Antonio Diaz and myself. We're both trainers. We got a great team, and we follow a good program where if I leave, he stays, and if I stay, he leaves. And that's just the way it works. One person cannot handle a camp like the one we have.
Joel, it's Alex here, man. It's funny you say that because we've been to a few gyms, and sometimes different coaches have different strategies and different ways of training their fighters. How do you guys manage that? When one coach goes away and the other one is left behind to train the rest of the fighters. How do you guys communicate? And keep that bond so that there's no discrepancies or arguments, because we see that a lot in the gym sometimes.
One of the things that I have in my camp is it's a program that we established a long time ago, and Antonio and I get along really, really well. Antonio and we form a plan, and for example, if I'm going to travel a coming up weekend, we sit down and then we say how many fighters we got. Okay, we got this guys. Who's fighting first? So we go by priorities based on dates. So let's add more work to these guys. And even though I'm gone, in the time off that I have, I go to my room and I sit on my laptop or on my phone, and I'm working from there. There's times, for example, the last fight when Jesse Vargas fought Mikey Garcia, I took Israel Madrimov to Dallas, and we had Tomas Delorme getting ready for his fight against Jamal James, and other fighters that were getting ready. So in between, I'm out there and I'm watching the sparring. We have cameras in the gym, and there's cameras that are right pointing the ring. And as the sparring is going, I'm watching the sparring and I'm talking to him. I say, hey, this guy is not doing this right. You gotta yell at him. You gotta correct him. And I see he's doing it. And then this guy needs this kind of work. And so we're communicating all the time. And with Antonio and I mean, we've been working together for many years, and we've never had any arguments regarding the training because I run the show. I tell him how it's done. He's a great guy as far as doing mitts with the guys, and he just does what I tell him, and he does it right. I put the program together when I leave, and when he stays behind, he follows the work.
Hey, Joel. Mario Munguia here. Thank you for joining us so early. We very much appreciate it. And wow, that's crazy, the dedication to have essentially cameras so that you can continue to watch your fighters. But you said something really interesting when Bradley was brought up. You said that it opened doors and it opened your ability to train more people. And I'm sure that you meant because of exposure, but I'm also sure you meant it also meant because a fighter like that takes so much of your time. We talk about Eddie Reynosa and the fact that, he's got Canelo, he's got Ryan Garcia, and they're talking about Andy Ruiz getting to his camp. Is so many superstars in one camp a recipe for disaster. We saw with Freddie Roach, he had so many guys, and eventually he was being pulled too many ways. But do you think it's possible to have that many superstars in your gym without taking away from training?
It's a ticking time bomb. It's a ticking time bomb in regards of the attitude of the fighters. There's fighters that are not as humble. There's some that are more humble than others. And this sport, the sport of boxing, is really jealous. It's a lot of jealousy among the sport of boxing. And the way I see it is this: once you start establishing a team like Reynoso has Valdez, has Ryan Garcia, has obviously the cash cow of the sport, which is Canelo. Now bringing in Andy Ruiz, it all depends on how they establish from the beginning. Because I mean, one person can mess up the whole team. If one guy starts, generating that jealousy, where, hey, why is he getting more time than me? Why is he doing this and he's not doing it? I mean, it all starts. It takes one person, and in that kind of level of boxing, all those fighters are all elite fighters. They're all superstars, and they're coming into a team that has a lot of attention, and they want that attention. So they're gonna be fighting. They're gonna be fighting for attention. They have to either realize, hey, I'm in. I gotta deal with whatever comes, or you know what, I expect more. And when they expect more from whatever the coach gives you, it creates a problem and starts disasters.
Joel, Enrique here. How are you, brother?
Hey, Enrique, how are you? Good morning.
Good. I want to know, you are a former fighter, then gone trainer. Is there a benefit in a fighter becoming trainer over a young guy, let's say like Ben Davison, all of a sudden becoming trainer? Is there a benefit because you were a fighter? Or is it equal lessons to be given?
There's a little bit of more of an edge, because you as a fighter, you went through the training, you went through the fighting, you know the process more than somebody that didn't fight. Actually, me as a fighter, I still fight with my fighters, and I always tell them, I'm a very aggressive person in the corner because I like to win. Sometimes you have to acknowledge the fighter in every way. Sometimes I use some of the feelings of the fighter. I mean, outside the sport, I use things like the family, the future plans, where you're at, to motivate the fighter in the corner. When you're in that corner, you already know what's happening in there because you've been in that ring before. And if you've never been there before, I mean, really, there's only so much you can demand because you never felt what it feels to be in the ring, That's the benefit.
Wow.
So, Joel, today's topic is, Floyd Mayweather, a changed man. We believe that the passing of his uncle Roger Mayweather has done something that's changed him. I've been following this sport for almost 10 years, and I've never seen him publicly promote his own fighters on his Instagram without deleting them. And now he's taking the time to train them. Mike Tyson seems to believe that Floyd can be a great trainer. How good or great do you think Floyd Mayweather Jr. can be as a trainer?
Well, a trainer needs a team, and Floyd Mayweather has everything, all the tools to become a great trainer. Why? Because he was around the best trainers in the world. I mean, his Uncle Roger, his father Floyd, great trainers. I mean, Hall of Fame trainers. So I'm pretty sure that he picked up a lot from the training. Every fighter picks up a lot of the good stuff from the great trainers, and they learn. I think Floyd's IQ in the sport of boxing is really high. That's why if Floyd dedicates himself and gives himself 100% into the sport of boxing now in the training area, I think he could be a great trainer.
Joel, the other day we did a film study on Tim Bradley versus Ruslan Provatnikov, right? And we were going crazy because it was a legendary fight of the year. We were just going nuts because we were like, man, why is Tim getting into this phone booth fight? Why is he staying in there? And could you give us a little bit of like what was the mentality of Tim going into that fight and just trying to dog it out with Ruslan?
For that fight, there's a lot of things behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know. And it was really hard and very stressful for the whole team. I carry a lot of weight on that team because his father was a father, and he was a hard father, but he always kept his distance, and he's always on the side. His uncle Jackson was the guy that was with him since he was in high school and followed him through every tournament. Now, coming into that fight, before that fight, he had fought Manny. I think his fight before that one was Manny. And you guys remember the decision was in his favor. And we got really bad to the point where, right here where I live, Tim Bradley was not my neighbor, but he lived right on the next street. So basically behind my house. This is a close neighborhood, gated neighborhood. And after that fight, it's like, okay, we walk away with a win. But the joy of the win lasted only 5 minutes. We celebrated when they said the winner, Tim Bradley, whatever, we celebrated. But after that, Bob Arum says, what happened? Bob Arum basically threw us under the bus and said, what happened here? So after that, it was no longer an enjoyable win. As we're walking to the press conference, Tim Bradley had a broken ankle.
Oh.
Because he broke his ankle, I remember in one round, and I made him fight through the whole fight with a broken ankle. We go to the press conference. He's in a wheelchair. So after that, we drove home. We had a bus, and everything. Honestly, winning the fight at that magnitude, it was for us to celebrate and cheer. And enjoy and just have fun through the whole road. Honestly, from Vegas to Indio, we're in a bus. It was maybe like 30, 40 people. It seemed like it was a funeral. Honestly, everybody was quiet, sad. Instead of celebrating, we were like, what happened here? From that moment on, everybody's life changed. His life changed. He got death threats. Letters on the mail. I did too. It was bad to the point where I changed my routine. Every day in the morning, I have a ranch. I have my horses. I would stop at a coffee shop and get a coffee before I went to the ranch. So I had to make changes because I just hated the fact that people would ask me, did you guys really think you won the fight? It was like that comment that really stunned you, it was bad. Like I said, like I told people, I was tired of telling people, hey, I wasn't a judge that day. We went to fight. And it's not my fault. We walk in the ring, we're fighting the best fighter of the era. And we walk out with a win. It's like, hey, it's not like I know the judges. It's not like, this was part of me. It's not my part. It's not part of my plan. We walked away with a win. We won the fight, whatever. But don't ask me this, because they were that created that negativity of the people. So then Bradley had to move. People were coming to his house and, attacking him. I was attacked one time in Santa Monica with my family by some Filipino fans. And it was just bad.
Crazy that it got this serious for you, man.
So Bradley had to move to another home where nobody knew where he lived. There was times in which I would go to his house and he was like he would cry. He would cry. He would be on his wheelchair and he would cry and he would tell me, Coach, the sport I love, the sport I did for 18 years, I don't like it anymore. So going back to the Ruslan Provodnikov fight, I remember going back to the gym after he was, I think the Provodnikov fight was like in February, around there. And Tim fought Pacquiao in June. So I remember when they said, okay, Tim Bradley's back in the gym. We're going to get another fight. And manager comes and gives us a list of fighters. And I'll never forget that. When they gave us Alvarado, Brandon Rios. They gave us like 5 names. I don't remember the 5 names. But along one of those names was Ruslan Provodnikov. Ruslan Provodnikov was offered to me for one of my brothers when my brothers were still active. And I said, hell no. Ruslan Provodnikov was tough. I saw when he fought Mauricio Herrera. So when they came to me, I said, you know what? If this is the order for Bradley's next opponent, I'll take Brandon Rios first. I'll take Alvarado. I'll take this guy. And then I left Ruslan Provodnikov at the very bottom. The next day, I thought about it, and I come back to the gym, and I tell Bradley, hey, Bradley, you know what? I think I messed up. He goes, why? I go, I left Ruslan Provodnikov at the very end, like the last option. I go, that's the guy they're going to give us. He goes, why you say that? I know it. I have a feeling that because we left him towards the end, he's sure. They come back and they said, oh, well, Brandon Rios can't fight. Oh, Alvarado has problems. Then I go, the only one there is Ruslan Provodnik. I was like, wow, shit. So it was a concern to me. So we trained. We trained for the fight. And 3 weeks into the fight, Bradley calls me. And he goes, hey, coach, can I talk to you? Sure. Can you come to my house? I remember he was sitting in his backyard by the pool. And he's a little bummed out. I go, what's going on, Tim? Coach, I'm stuck. I can't lose weight. I've been on the same weight for a couple of weeks. I said, what do you mean? And he goes, yeah, I've been trying. And, we got 3 weeks to go. And on my plan, I won't be able to make the weight. I go, wow. I said, let me bring somebody that can help us. I brought this guy. He goes, hey, no problem. Let's try. We're going to pick it up and we're going to do something, but we're going to try to make it weight. In Bradley's whole career, that fight was the first fight that the day of the weigh-ins, he was still 4 pounds over. The day of the weigh-ins in the morning.
Wow.
And I remember the hotel where we're staying, the tub was square. It was a square tub, pretty deep. Got it with hot water, Epsom salt, put him in there. He lost the weight. He made the weight. So after the weigh-ins, whatever, going into the fight, I remember walking through the tunnel to the ring. I'm telling Bradley, I know Ruslan Provodnik. Ruslan Provodnik is a fighter that he wants you to stand in front of him in order for him to throw. If you move, he can't do nothing. Just box the shit out of him. I said, just box him, just move around, hit and move. And he goes, and he looks at me like, he just said yes. But he didn't have that motivation like he used to before, like when he fought other fighters, like, hey, yeah, coach, all right, let's do it. No, he just looked at me and, all right. When that bell rings and he goes head on, I go, what are you doing? I was mad at him. As a matter of fact, there was times in which he was dead in the corner. I would wake him up. The whole corner was panicking. And I'm like, hey, everybody, I was calming everybody in the corner, relax. And sometimes a trainer has to do what he has to do. And I did what I had to do that fight. There was times in which Bradley was so out to the point where, hey, Bradley, come on. I said, all right, well, come on. Wake him up. He's like, in the 6th round, he comes back and his eyes are rolled. And I go, talk to me. And I'm putting water on his head. And he tells me, coach, what round is it? I'm like, 6th round. Like, he was out. He fought with heart that night.
It's funny you're saying that because when we were watching it, that's exactly what was on our minds.
Yeah. There was times, look, there's a time where he's on the ropes and Ruslan is going and Tim's like this. He's like, what I was doing in my mind, like, this guy's not going to take my daughter's college money, and he's fighting with heart. But there was times, and the referee that night, after the fight, he came and told me, you pulled every card in the deck, huh? I said, I knew what he was talking about because there was times, a few seconds in that corner, if you don't know how to use them, I mean, they can benefit you or they can hurt you. I remember when they said seconds out, I ignored them. There was times in which the bell would ring and I was still in there, But those 10 seconds, I used them to recover Bradley. I mean, the referee would tell me, seconds out. And I was ignoring everybody. I was focusing on Bradley, waking him up. And then, seconds out, Diaz out. And I was still, bell rings, I was jumping out of the ring. Those seconds made a big difference. The next morning, I go to his room because those fights were shown on HBO. And then they would show him early morning on 9 in the morning. Mm-hmm. I remember when I went to his room the next morning, I knocked on his door because his face was all, beat up. I woke him up and I said, hey, Tim, how you feeling? He goes, I'm good, coach. I go, man, it was bad. He goes, coach, I got balls. I go, no, it's not about balls, Tim. It's about being smart. But the reason why he did what he did was because he thought he needed to prove something after the Pacquiao fight. He was so attacked. So, yeah, that's what happened. Even his wife told me after the fight, he goes, when you told him to box and he looked at you and I was behind him, I knew he wasn't going to listen to you. He was going to go in there and go for the kill, like a do or die type of thing, because he was so attacked, insulted, and offended due to the Pacquiao fight that he needed to prove something that night. That night, people liked him because of what he did. But I think Bradley that night, he gave the fans 10 years of his life because it was really bad. And the next morning, when I'm in his room, we turn on the TV and they show the fight, the replay. And this is him. He's looking at the fight and he goes, and when he gets hit the first time and he goes down, and he goes, whoa. He goes, coach, that happened yesterday? I said, yeah.
Oh, shit.
He didn't remember anything. And it was bad because Tim Bradley is one of the fighters that I will always remember having the biggest heart. I mean, he wasn't like the fighter that you could say, oh man, he was a superstar. Well, but that guy had the heart. I mean, that you can imagine. He will be almost dead and he'll still be fighting. That's why Tim Bradley got to where he was. He always fought against all odds. Kendall Holt, he got dropped against Kendall Holt really bad. Came back and won the fight. We went to England, fought Junior Witter and beat Junior Witter. I mean, Devin Alexander, when he took on Devin Alexander, he had no respect for Devin Alexander. Went in there and just went through him, I mean, Juan Manuel Marquez, when he fought Juan Manuel Marquez, the same. I told him, Tim, in this arena here, because Marquez had just beat Pacquiao, I said, there's 95% of the people in this arena think you're going to lose. 5% think you're going to win, and that's me and your team. If you listen to me, I go, just watch his right hand, because he knocked out Pacquiao with the right hand. So right now he's high on the right hand. Let's execute his right hand, and you'll be fine. He did. First round. How do you see him, coach? He's trying to set up. Okay, well, let's do this. And then, okay, he's strong, coach. I go, okay, well, let's do this. And he followed the whole plan, and we won the fight.
Wow,
that was
what a
amazing
great backstory.
story.
Yeah,
that was
amazing.
One of,
and it clears up a lot of stuff to what we were seeing. It was like, wow.
Yeah, man, and honestly, like, I love the sport because of the passion, but man, it's disgusting that fans treated you that way. But listen, I want to switch gears a little bit because I would kill myself if we let you go without me bringing up Israel Madrimov. Seeing him, seen every one of his fights so far, except for I think maybe one, his first fight. He has something that really appeals to me that I think is going to appeal to a lot of fans. He's exciting. He's dynamic. He's athletic. He is not a 5-0 fighter. He is way too advanced for a 5-0 fighter. So I guess my question is general. How fast will he move up the ranks? What do you see in him, and how special do you think he could be?
Israel Madrimov is a kid that has a lot of experience. He's been all over the world. He has over 400 amateur fights. So a fighter like him, there's no need to take him slow because he's seen all styles. I think that a fighter like Israel Madrimov, if you take him the slow path and just move him slow, he'll age and he won't do anything. He needs to be moved fast. He's very dynamic. Honestly, Israel Madrimov hits you with both hands. He has power with both hands. He's very elusive. He has a very special ability to move in the ring. I mean, honestly, I have to bring sparring partners for him because he's a 54-pounder, and all the 47s, 54s, they will not last with him in the sparring. So I usually spar him with 160s and 168-pounders, and he's very solid. He's very disciplined. He's very athletic. He's a kid that right now, back in Uzbekistan, he's wrestling. He's doing jiu-jitsu. He did gymnastics. He's a kid that is all around very athletic. In the sport of boxing, he's very smart. He goes in and out. He catches you on the way. He catches you on the at least on the expected moment, and he has very good timing. He finds the right opportunities. He'll find the right openings, and he's very special. That kid right there, he's one of the kids in my camp that I think that is going to be a superstar. I can see it in him already. I've been a trainer for many years, and just having Israel Madrimov in my team, I can already see the ability that he has to reach one of the best fighters in the world.
So, I obviously want to say that I scored it for Bradley. I'm not going to lie. So, I want to get your honest opinion. Did you have it for Bradley that first fight? Because I did. I'm not, I'm on record and I don't care that, people didn't see it that way. I thought he outboxed Manny Pacquiao.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, I live with this every day. I live with this on a daily basis. And Bradley and I, separated after a certain amount of time that we're together. But I'm never gonna say we didn't win the fight. We won the fight, and I'm gonna tell you why. After the fight was over, we went through all this for months. Okay, I watched it once, and I was told one time, I said, watch the fight with no volume. I watched it with no volume. I see a different fight. Because there was times in which Pacquiao would throw a jab, and you would hear like, and Pacquiao with a straight left, and Pacquiao with, and there was nothing there. And I'm like, well, I went to Texas for the Canelo fight. I think it was Austin Trout and Canelo Alvarez. I was in Texas. After the weigh-ins, I ran into one of the judges, discorded for Bradley, and he came to me and he told me, Mr. Diaz, he told me his name. He says, I am one of the judges that scored Bradley's fight. He says, I want you to know one thing. He says, I retired as a judge after that fight. But I want you to always remember this. Never be ashamed to say that Bradley won that fight. He says, because he won the fight. He says, look, I was a judge. He goes, I'm no longer going to be a judge in the sport. But if you watch that fight again, Pacquiao, how can Pacquiao win the fight? And he was only working 30 seconds out of every round. Bradley was a busier fighter. Pacquiao was only working 30 seconds out of each round. But the thing is this, to me, honestly, as a trainer, that was my first biggest fight, the biggest stages. I bring a fighter that not a lot of people knew, which is Tim Bradley, a guy with a lot of heart. I mean, physically strong kid, mentally strong, with a big heart. I bring him to a fight against the best fighter in the era, and the guy that has been knocking out, Cotto, Margarito, beat Oscar de la Hoya, Ricky Hatton. I mean, all those guys. A guy that is just executing everybody. I remember in the last round, I'm pumping Bradley up, and he has a broken ankle. And I told him, ignore the pain. Let's go. He finishes the fight. When that fight was over and the bell rang in the last round, I went up there. I won the fight. I mean, I didn't think about that decision because Manny Pacquiao was the ticket seller. He was the fighter of the era. But I'm like, we're not going to win the fight because he's Manny Pacquiao. 100% of the people here are for Manny Pacquiao. But to me, going 12 rounds with Manny Pacquiao, the guy that was just executing every fighter in the sport, and Bradley, a guy that nobody knew, goes 12 rounds with him and fought, to me, it was a win. I picked him up. I said, hey, Tim, we won. I don't care about the decision. To me, this is a win. We celebrated. And then all of a sudden, we're like, and the winner, and you. I'm like, whoa, yeah, and we won. Okay? But that only lasted 5 minutes.
Right. Enrique again. So Manny Pacquiao, comes across like a righteous Christian man, and he obviously would know that you got death threats by his fans and people that dislike the agreement of the outcome. What has he ever reached out to like apologize or give his blessings to you or to Bradley?
No, never. We never heard that he did it to Bradley or to me. I saw him in Malaysia when he fought Lucas Matisse. I was in the dressing room with him, but it was bad. Honestly, I can tell you guys, it was the worst feeling a human can have, just knowing that the whole world is against you. Everywhere you went, it's like, oh man, these guys, whatever happened in that fight, you always get attacked. Like I felt, honestly, and Bradley told me, he goes, Coach, I felt like I stole the fortune from somebody, Right. People just look at us like we're thieves, and all we did was just prepare to a fight. We went to a fight like everybody else, and we come back with a win, and that win is worse than a loss, and it was, honestly. Right. Honestly, I would have preferred to walk away from that fight with a defeat, and people enjoy the fight and people greet us well, than walk away with a win and people just talk so bad about us, and getting those death threats, those letters where, oh, you guys are dead, hey, you and your families, and, this is like, it was bad.
Terrible. I wonder if Jeff Horn went through the same thing. I know you heard Jeff Horn won Pacquiao. I wonder if he had the same experience.
I saw that fight, and it was just tough. I just think that, it's unfair for the fighters and the teams that put in such of a extreme work in camps, because we put in work when it's a fight at that level. We go the extra mile. We spend the extra time. We make sure that everything is right because we're stepping in the ring against the best fighter in the world. So I mean, the sacrifice of the families, sacrifice of the training, the work, the wear and tear, the discipline, everything. And then we will go to a fight to give the people, because we're in the entertainment business, so we want to entertain the people. And we come back, and for months we have to go through this. Everything started slowing down a little bit after that Ruslan Provodnica fight. But look what Bradley had to do in order for him to gain a little bit of respect. And honestly, the way he was, Bradley after that fight, honestly, I think he lost 10 years of his life because he got hit so bad. He got concussed so bad going into the fight against Juan Manuel Marquez. After that fight, I can tell you guys this: Bradley was really badly hurt after the Ruslan Provodnica that he couldn't even speak. He was slurring. He couldn't speak. He got hit so bad. And going into that fight, I had my brother Julio fighting American in England, and I had Bradley fighting Marquez. And Bradley was like trying to come back to the gym, but he wasn't performing anymore at all. I used to have a kid by the name of Vicente Escobedo, 130-pounder, and he was sparring Bradley. And one day, Bradley's never been down in sparring. Never. Bradley's tough. He used to spar 147, 154s, and he was tough. And after that Provodnica fight, he got concussed so bad that in the gym, he wasn't moving the way he used to. His instincts were not there. His balance wasn't there.
Reaction time.
So all of a sudden, he's sparring Vicente Escobedo. Vicente Escobedo's a 130-pounder, and he catches him with a left hook, and boom, Bradley goes down. And then Vicente goes, "Oh, I stepped on your foot." He goes, "No, you caught me. Take it, champ. Take it. You caught me." From that moment on, honestly, I would come home and I would tell my wife, "Hey, I'm worried for Bradley. I don't know. I don't think he's going to fight. I'm not going to let him fight." And it was getting closer to the Marquez fight, and he had re-signed the contract and everything. And one day I called him. I said, "Hey, Tim, I need to talk to you." He goes, "Coach, I'm going to go run. I go, "Hey, I'll go run with you." 7 p.m. at night. I remember we started running and we're talking. And I go, "Hey, Tim, honestly, dude," I said, "I'm going to pull the plug on this fight. You're not doing well." He goes, "No, Coach, please don't." I go, "Tim." Yeah, and then he tells me, "Coach, there's $4.5 million on this fight." I go, "I don't care. Honestly, I don't care about that money." I go, "My concern is this, Tim. I want to take you to a fight where I'm going to bring you back to your family, your kids, your wife." I said, "There's a split second to make the right or wrong decision in the fight." He goes, "Coach, if you see that I'm getting beat, just stop it." I go, "No, hey, you're giving me a big responsibility there. I mean, Marquez has just knocked out Pacquiao, and you're telling me to, you never know in the fight. I could make the right decision or the wrong decision in a split second, Tim." I said, "I'm gonna pull the plug," and then he broke down. He goes, "Come on, Coach, let's do it for our families." I go, "No, Tim, I just don't want to carry this in my mind that you get hurt, you're in a hospital, you're in a coma. I don't want to do that." So he goes, "Coach, give me a couple weeks. Let me see how I feel." So that's when he brought two doctors from New York. And we had those two doctors every day. He had them in the morning. I mean, he had them with him all 24 hours a day. They were giving him some stretches, some therapy for his concussion. And he started feeling better. And he started getting better. Even closer to the fight, I go, "Man, I see progress. He's getting better." Those doctors two concussion doctors came from New York and were with him 24/7. And then they got like a big old barrel that he had in his room. He was sleeping. It's like an oxygen barrel. He was sleeping.
Oh, yeah. It's a hyperbaric chamber,
something like that. Yeah. He had it at home, so he was sleeping that thing for the oxygen. And, so he did all that. So I remember my brother Julio would tell me, and he was getting ready for American. And then my brother would tell me, "Hey, whenever you want to spar Tim, I'll help you." He goes, "Because all these new guys that come over here, they try to prove a point, And all these guys, when they come in the clinch, they try to, and they're going to hurt." He goes, "I'll take care of them." So I said, "Hey, Julio, help me out. I'm going to close camp with Tim." He goes, "I'll help you. And besides, I need to work too. We're gonna go. It's a week apart." So they sparred 10 rounds. Tim Bradley looked sharp. And Julio was sharp. He was in top shape. And Julio comes to the corner and tells me, if he fights Marquez the way he sparred today, he'll win. No problem. I go, really? He goes, I couldn't even touch him. So that night, I came home. I slept all afternoon until the next day. I was so tired and stressed. I was just thinking, man, he's not feeling. But after that, I said, okay, let's do it. We go to the fight, and look what we did.
Damn, those are the backstories right there.
So,
Great stories.
Before we got some questions from the people, which are a lot. I hope you are not in a rush. We did wake you up early. But I want you to give us another little backstory, man. Rumor has it that you and Tim broke up because of Monica Bradley started to manage the career.
Well, look, the thing is this. I just don't want to create another conflict. When Tim started his career, I was basically his trainer, his manager, his cut man, his handler. I did everything, And we went together for 8 years. And he was managed by, he had a manager first, and then when Cameron Duncan came, that's when he got the first fight with Casamayor. And then from there, it was Pacquiao, and then another one here and there. So the thing is this. Cameron Duncan's been a manager that he's always away from the fighters. He doesn't show up a lot. He'll check up on you once in a while. So Bradley was getting a little like, hey, he's never around. We're getting ready for a fight, and he never comes to see me train. He just shows up to the fights. But he was getting in the best fights, So after the contract was about to end with Cameron, he tells me, he goes, hey, coach, by that time, he already married Monica, and he had her part of the team. She was coming to the gym and basically doing what a wife does, watching out for his husband. So I just honestly didn't like the fact that they were getting too much into my business when I handled it for so many years, It was already annoying me. It was already annoying me, the fact that, hey, I've done this for many years. Why are they now judging me for what I do? Like, what size of gloves are the sparring partners they're using? Who is the sparring partner? That type of stuff. So I was ready, but I kept it to myself. Honestly, I never said anything. I was still rolling with the punches. And I remember when he fought Jesse Vargas, I told Bradley at first, I go, Bradley, now that the contract's over with Cameron, so what are you doing? Well, I'm thinking about making my wife a manager. Okay. I never tell him yes or no. I'm the type of person that if you ask me, hey, you think he's a good manager? I'm never going to tell you yes. Because if I tell you yes and then later on down the road, things don't go the way you planned, they're going to say, hey, well, you told me. I don't like that. You figure it out yourself. Find out yourself. If you're going to get into a problem, get into your problem yourself. I'm not going to be part of it. So I'm going back to that. I told him, Tim, I don't think it's the right thing, Your wife, usually promoters don't answer phones to women, And he goes, oh, no, she's got it down. She's got Todd the Buff and Cameron Duncan like that. Okay, well, it's up to you, whatever. So when he did that, she was now in full control of the team. And, every trainer will tell you the same thing. When somebody comes and tries to tell you how to do your job, when you've done it for so many years and everything is working well, it is a problem. And that's what happened, And then what happened was when he fought Jesse Vargas, I had Diego Magdaleno in my camp. And then she brought her brother, which was Tim's brother-in-law, and he was already getting too much into my circle, like my work, what I was doing. And it was like, come on, give me my space, man. I do this. I've been doing this for years. But they were getting too much into my area of training.
Your expertise.
Yes. And it was getting to the point where it wasn't working. I was stressing every day. So when Diego Magdaleno fought, he fought a day before Bradley fought Vargas. And a month, 2 months before, Diego Magdaleno told me, hey, coach, I want you to go with me to the fight. I go, hey, dude, but I got Bradley fighting Jesse Vargas in LA. He goes, please, coach, we'll figure something out. So one day, Tim Bradley sort of like overheard, and he came to me and told me, hey, coach, I want you to go with him. I go, Tim, no. I go, I'm going to go with you. Coach, go. He needs you as much as I need you. He goes, just go and, just as long as you're at the fight with me in my corner, that's fine. You come back and that's fine. So I sent my brother Antonio with Tim to LA. So I flew to Texas with Diego Magdaleno. I made it to the fight. Everything was fine. And everything started in the past by them getting into my business. So that everything just basically stopped that night. And I don't even know why. This is just the way everything ended, because after the fight with Bradley and Vargas, I'm taking off. It was his father, the conditioning trainer, his uncle, and me. That's the 4 people in the team in the corner. So his brother-in-law is always there, and he's getting into my business. So I was already annoyed by him just coming in. And that night, after the fight is over, I'm taking off his gloves, and they want to do an interview with Bradley in the ring. So I'm telling him, and then his brother-in-law jumps in and he grabs Tim by the hand and he's pulling him. I go, hey, wait. And he don't listen to me. I go, wait, I'm taking off his gloves. So he just ignores me, and I grab him and I go, hey, dude, I'm telling you, let me do my job. I go, please don't. And I was like really mad. And I was like, honestly, I was going to punch him that night. So I'm like, oh. So he took him, did the interview. So I got so angry that I threw the towel and I walked out and went to the dressing room. And I left everybody behind. Because I didn't want to punch his brother-in-law in the ring. Honestly, I was like
better to walk away, right?
So that's what I did. That's exactly the way it happened. I go to the dressing room and I'm over there by myself until everybody comes in. He comes in, hey coach, hey, thank you, whatever. Okay, we went to dinner or whatever. He had my scale, and then he kept it. I went to my room. The next morning at 6 a.m, he knocks on my door, and I was okay, and it's him. So he gives me an envelope, my check. And he gives me the scale and he goes, hey, coach, thank you for everything, man. He goes, I got balls. I go, Tim, it's not about having balls, dude. I go, you're not listening to me. I mean, I'm telling you, watch his right hand. You get caught with it. He goes, you know me, coach. I mean, I go down and I get up. I go, but that's not the point. You're jeopardizing one thing that could harm you in the future. He goes, hey, coach, thank you, man. I love you, man. He gives me a hug and he walks away. That's the last time I saw him. After that, a couple months went by. I'm at the gym training. But never heard from Bradley, or I would call him and he won't answer. And didn't get an answer. I go, okay, he'll call me whenever he's ready. And then I heard that he was fighting Brandon Rios. And when I heard that news, that it was already a done deal, I'm calling his dad and he goes, oh, coach, can you tell Tim to call me? Okay, coach, I'll tell him. Nobody. So I never heard from him. Oh, he don't have a phone. Okay, no problem. So that day, I'm training at the gym, and my brother tells me, hey, Tim Bradley's outside. I go, what's he doing? He goes, he's mad. I go, why is he mad? I don't know. He says he's mad at you. I go, tell him to come in. So he comes in the office in the gym, and we're sitting next to each other. And I go, Tim, what is the problem? And this is his words. Exactly. He goes, I want to ask you a question. I said, sure. He says, on this last fight, did you help me for the money, or you helped me like you did before? I go, what? Are you really telling me that? You really telling me that I did this fight for the money? I go, you better watch what you're saying, Tim, because I want to tell you something. I almost pulled the plug on a fight that was $4 million. You think I'm gonna do this for the fight, for this fight? You got $1 million for this fight? I go, and it's not about that, Tim. I go, look, Tim, sit down. I don't know whatever the problem is, but I'm gonna tell you. That night, this is what happened. Your brother-in-law, this and that. I go, what would you prefer? For me to punch your brother-in-law in the ring or just walk away? And he goes, whoa. I go, dude, I'm going to tell him, Tim, I understand what you're coming from, but it's been a while that I'm not comfortable with the way things working. I go, but I want you to think about it. I want you to think about it because I'm done, bro. I go, and now that you're telling me that I did this fight for the money, you really hurt me, man, because I've been with you since you were nothing. I started you from ground zero. And you're like my brother, dude. I love you like a brother, like my son. I go, don't tell me this shit. I go, I almost pulled the plug on a $4.5 million fight. You think I'm gonna? I mean, come on. I go, but you know what? This is the way it goes. You go home to your family. If I tell you this is red, and you go home and they tell you it's green, what is it? It's green, right? Because that's your family. That's just the way it goes, Tim. I want you to think about it. I want you to think about what I'm telling you right now, and let me know what we're gonna do because I'm done, dude. He goes, all right. So he broke down. So he goes, all right, thank you, man. And he gives me a hug. I felt the love. I felt the love of him. Walks away. I was eating breakfast. That was like on a Thursday. Sunday morning, I'm having breakfast with my wife and my kids. And I get a call from a blocked number, private number. I don't answer private numbers. So I didn't answer. Later on, I get a message. And these were the words. And I still have the recording. And I'll save it forever. And he goes, hey, coach, this is Tim. I thought about it really hard. And, you know, it's just really hard with my wife and my brother-in-law, you know, working together. So, you know, thank you so much for everything. I'm like, all right. That's it.
Wow.
That was basically it. And then, you know, he went ahead and started working with Teddy Atlas, and he did what he did. And, you know, I mean, after that, it really bothered me because him and I had a great relationship. Then everybody started attacking me that I was talking bad about his wife. I never spoke bad about his wife. And then he started attacking Steve Kim and you know, here and there. But I never said, it was his wife's fault. Or this is just the way things happen, you know? I mean, this is just the way things happen. And I never said it was her fault, his fault. It could have been his fault for allowing it. But that's just the way he wanted to run his career. I said, okay, I just don't appreciate it. And his last words to me were, I mean, working with you and my brother-in-law and my wife, it's just not going to work. I said, okay.
Él no entiende. He didn't understand. And you know, it's funny that you say all this, Joel, because I know you're not going to remember, but I remember the Diego Magnello fight very well. I was covering it. It was in Hidalgo, Texas. It was on the undercard of Ramirez and Edwards, I think. And we spoke afterwards. You were very gracious with your time. You gave me an interview, even though Diego had just fought. And I remember asking you about Bradley. And you know, I didn't want to pry, but I remember the way that, you know, you were always so upbeat and you were always so passionate. And when the topic of Bradley came up, it felt deflated. And you know, I didn't press. I didn't want to, you know, you had a big fight coming up and you had just gotten off the big fight. So I didn't say anything, but wow, all this now, it makes a lot of sense. And man, I can't wait for that book one day from you, brother. But we have a lot of Patreon questions to get to.
Let me get to them.
Yeah.
Anything that you've already answered, just within the conversation, we're just going to, you know, let them get their shot out and move on. We got Brandon in Cincinnati says, any thoughts on moving Israel Madrimov down to 147 and have him challenge Bud Crawford?
Good question.
That is a great question. And honestly, I'm going to tell you guys, this is the way it goes with his manager. I talked to his manager a couple times.
Who's his manager?
His manager is Vadim.
Oh, Vadim. Okay. Yeah, he got all those Eastern European guys. And he works very closely with Aegis.
Yeah, I talked to Vadim. And I said, hey, Vadim, why don't we move Israel back to 47? He can make 47. Every time he gets on the scale, he's at 51, you know, like he makes 51, 52. Sometimes we have to give him food to make 153 before the fight, 54. And he tells me, look, Joel, he don't want to. He says that there's nothing from him there, that he's more comfortable at 54. And I said, but look, there's Terrence Crawford. He goes, nah, I'll wait for them when they move up to 54. I'll be waiting for them. He goes, he feels more comfortable at 54 than at 4. He just says that he don't see anything for him, anything spectacular for him at 47.
The paycheck.
I mean, he says I'd rather wait 54 and then move to 60. But those are his plans. I tried it. I mentioned it to him and his team. Nah, coach. I mean, nah, not 47. I'll be here in 54. I mean, I'm pretty sure Earl Spence is gonna move to 54 one day. He's a big boy. Terrence Crawford might move to 54, but he just don't feel. He just says that honestly, he's better off at 54.
All right, we got the next one is from King Amin in Newark, says, Newark, New Jersey. What really made you and Tim Bradley go separate ways after so much success together? You've answered that in depth. Thank you again, King Amin. We got looks like Mr. Adore. Thanks for coming on the show. It looks like all of your Uzbekistan fighters could become champions like MJ. My question is, Melikilov? I don't even Melikusiev go down to 160, and does Guy Salva. I don't know none of these Russian last names, all right? But Gaia Sov stay at 140 to compete for titles.
Giasov, Shakram Giasov.
There you go.
Yeah. Shakram Giasov is a 2016 silver medalist. He's a great kid, a lot of potential. He's like 11-0 or 10-0. He's at 140 solid. He's at 140 solid. He's gonna stay at 140. Bektamir Melakusiev, he's a 168 pounder. He's one of the guys that he's been avoided because he's so powerful. He's real strong. He's one of the guys who's gonna generate a lot of attention in that division because he only has like 5 fights or 6 fights. But he's an animal. We call him Bully. I mean, we cannot find sparring for him. He is 168 pounder, and he's been sparring cruiserweights and heavyweights, and he does damage. That kid right there, honestly, you're gonna see a lot from him, as well as Akhmadaliev, Morajan Akhmadaliev. He beat Roman. He's a unified champion with only 7 fights, and there's more to come. There's more to come. There's more Uzbeks coming. They're really strong. These guys are really, really, really strong. Very smart in the ring. We have Morajan 122, Shakram Gias at 140, Israel Madrimov 154, Bektamir Melakusiev at 168, and we have another kid by the name of Raja Butayev who just fought Bisputin and for the world title. He's also part of my team. There's a few others, but these guys are going to be world champions. All of them.
Pretty good at pronouncing those names, Joel.
Well, after 2 years,
Very
I gotta
good.
practice. I've been practicing,
I'm like, I'm gonna ask him if he speaks Uzbekistani.
No, I was like, I'm gonna ask him to spell those, but I was like, no, I'll text him later.
Now, all these fighters are from Uzbekistan, right?
Yeah, they're from Uzbekistan, and all top athletes. I'm telling you, these guys are very disciplined. And one of the things that I admire about these guys is that they have a goal in mind: is they're gonna be world champions. They're not like the average American Mexican fighter. They come and they think they're the champions already, and they do whatever they want. They train no. These guys are like, hey, you're gonna give me 100 sit-ups, they'll give you 100 sit-ups, and after that you're gonna do this, and they never complain. They never say no. I mean, if you tell them at 12, they're there at 11:55. Their nutrition is always on point. They never have problems with weight. As a matter of fact, these are the only fighters I've worked with in my life that the week of the fight, every other person is like, we have to work out the day before the weigh-ins or the day of the weigh-ins. These guys, the day before the weigh-ins, they don't do nothing. Like, they just like to be in the room resting. No workout or nothing because they're already on weight.
Wow.
And to me, it's like, beautiful.
It's a dream.
I don't have to stress. I mean, Israel Madrimov, we were in Dallas, and we went to Dallas. The fight was Saturday. We went to Dallas on Monday or Tuesday, and then we did a little light workout, just to keep it moving, treadmill, jogging, and then the weigh-ins are Friday, and on Thursday, he didn't want to do anything. He just wanted to be in his room because he's on weight. And like, oh, beautiful. We don't have to stress about the weight, So that's how these guys are. They have a very strict diet, and they're really disciplined with their weight. Never had a problem.
We got George Foster in the UK says, which active boxer do you enjoy watching the most?
Which active fighter I enjoy right now is Terrence Crawford. Honestly, Terrence Crawford, to me, is by far one of the best fighters in the world. I wish that guy could get more recognition. I mean, he is very, very smart, very athletic. He manages both stands, and he's going to be in for a while.
Speaking of Crawford, the next question is from Trey, who says, Jermell Charlo versus Terrence Crawford at 154. Who do you got?
I think Charlo, due to the size difference. I mean, remember, Terrence Crawford, I like Terrence Crawford. He was a solid 140 pounder, moved up to 47. He's really, in 147, in the 47 pound division, he really hasn't fought anybody big yet. But moving up to 54, I think that his punch will not be as devastating at 54, and I think Charlo would take that fight.
All right, we have Josue Boxeo says, what up, Joel? Can you tell us the difference between training a boxer and an MMA fighter?
There's not much difference because I focus only on boxing. I mean, I trained Cub Swanson. I've trained Cub Swanson for 9 years, 8 years. And when he comes to me for boxing. I don't do no MMA. Every MMA fighter that comes to me, comes to my gym, they want to learn what I teach in this boxing. So there's no difference. They come to the gym and I train every person for boxing.
9 years, Cub Swanson.
You've done a great job with Cub. He
Yeah, bro.
His boxing is on point.
I like seeing Cub Swanson fight.
I was so excited with Cub Swanson at one point. He had 6 fights, 6 knockouts in a row, and 5 of them were knockouts of the night. I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus. You know, I mean, Cub Swanson is a very humble kid, hardworking kid, and he's still there. You know, I'm very glad. I'm very happy to be part of his team because he's given me everything that a coach can expect. You know, everything, friendship. He's really humble. He trains hard. He's like my family. That kid is like my brother.
All right, some more Uzbek questions. Time to butcher names. Carlito in the UK. Wait, yep. No. Actually, I got to go to David Maldonado says, would you have seen a fight between Tim Bradley versus Danny Garcia? No, how would you have seen a fight between Tim Bradley and Garcia going, being that it is a fight that we never got to see?
Well, let's put it this way. A fight between Tim Bradley and Danny Garcia would have been depending on what Timothy had in mind. Because honestly, a fight between Bradley and Garcia could have been the same thing as Bradley Provodnikov, or if Tim would decide to box. I mean, Danny Garcia, you could box him around. He's flat-footed. He only focuses on his left hook. That's all. You know, he's really a very beatable fighter. Mauricio Herrera, I see Mauricio Herrera beat him. So, you know, then I actually, honestly, when he fought Peterson, when Danny Garcia fought Peterson, I was on that event, and I told Peterson, I go, hey, this is what you need to do, and he did it, and I honestly think Peterson beat him too, because I know Danny Garcia. That fight with Tim Bradley and Garcia would have been like, if Timothy steps in the ring with Danny, all he needs to do is just hit and move, make a boring fight, but win the fight. But if he decides to fight, he could get in trouble too because Danny has power.
All right, we have Carlito in the UK, right? Says, what's good, Mr. Diaz? You got quite a stable of boxers. I'm a massive fan of Madrimov and MJ.
Madrimov.
All right.
And MJ. MJ is more John.
My question is, has Madrimov mentioned which of the champions he would like to destroy first?
You know what? Right now, he's a number one. He's a number one mandatory for Rosales, Jason Rosales, and he's a very quiet kid. You know.
You mean Rosario? You mean Rosario? Jason, the Dominican?
Jason Rosario, yeah.
The Dominican?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He's a mandatory for that title.
Which
right
title? The IBF? IBF or WBA?
Rosario just beat J-Rock, I think.
Yeah. But he's got 2 belts, so mandatory for which division? Which sanctioning body?
I think the WBA.
Okay.
So that's after his last fight, that made him the number one mandatory for Rosario's title. And Madrimov is a kid that hardly talks. He comes to the gym, very minimum. Hi, coach. How you doing? He trains. He don't do much. But when it comes to fighting, you tell him, hey, you're gonna fight this guy. He says, okay, no problem. You know, he don't care. He's really just going along with whatever the promotion tells him and whatever the rankings has for him.
All right, we got Ryan, a.k.a. Dempsey, that said, I think he might be from California. He says, Tim Bradley has gone on record and said Terrence Crawford was whooping him in sparring when he trained with him. Do you remember which fight Tim was training for when he first crossed paths with Terrence Crawford in sparring?
Of course, I remember very clear. I mean, Terrence Crawford is a good kid. Terrence Crawford had 6 fights in his career. Cameron Duncan has just signed him. When Tim Bradley fought Casamayor, we needed a southpaw. and Cameron Duncan sends Terence Crawford to India. So he was here for a couple months. And I didn't know he wasn't a southpaw, but he trained with Bradley southpaw every day, and really good. He would put pressure on Bradley and give him. I mean, Terence Crawford has always been a great fighter, and I mean, nobody like him that has ever given Bradley the work. But yeah, like Tim said, man, this kid is tough, and yeah, but there was times. I remember at that time he only had 6 fights. He needed the experience. He needed to mature more in the sport. And obviously, a kid is just coming up early in his career against a fighter that has more experience. Obviously, experience starts showing after like the 3rd, 4th round. In early rounds, yes, Terence Crawford always, made Tim think and put a lot of pressure and gave him the work. After like the 4th, 5th round, Tim Bradley starts to take over due to the experience. But I mean, it was just a matter of just time and experience.
All right. Next one is from Victor Banuelos. He says, some old school guys believe that fighters of today would never make it in the 70s and 80s and that we no longer have great fighters. Do you agree with those statements? And in your opinion, what makes a great fighter?
I agree with Banuelos in certain ways. The fighters nowadays, there's a lot of fighters nowadays that honestly they're coming up and they get a little bit of attention and they think they're already champions. So they want to be treated. They want that special treatment, like, oh, I'm already a champion. Treat me like a champion. Back in those years, I don't know, I was born in early 70s, but I mean, even in the 90s, in the 80s, you wouldn't last in those years. The fighters nowadays, back in the 80s, 90s, you wouldn't last, because back then it was not about who makes more excitement. It's about who's a better fighter. It was more about how good were you. It's not about how good you look. I mean, it was about the sport more than how you look. I mean, nowadays everybody's going by social media. If you got a lot of followers, you're a great boxer. When you're not, that's the difference. That's what Banuelos is trying to tell you. Back then, there was no social media, Back then, it was, you're a fighter, you're showing the people with your fist that you are a good fighter. You're not like, oh, you know what, you got 3 or 4 million followers on Instagram, and wow, it's not like that. You got to show. Back then, it was different.
Yeah, a lot of excitement with the social media nowadays, man.
I mean, those followers are helping the paychecks, though, these days, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And you know what, I had a question. Somebody asked me the other day, and I agree. It's business. It's boxing business. Somebody asked me the other day, what do you think about the YouTubers coming into this event? And I said, I don't have a problem. I don't. People are negative about it, but you got to see that we need those guys. For example, we were in Miami for the fight where Joel Diaz beat Tevin Farmer and Ahmad Aliyev beats Roman. I mean, it's Super Bowl weekend. Okay, we're in Miami. Okay, these fighters, I think the main event was Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade, great fighter, great technician, but I don't think he's a ticket seller, So what do these promoters do? They gotta sell tickets, right? So they bring Logan Paul and the YouTubers to get in there to fill the arena. Thanks to those guys, we get paid. You know what I mean? Because they bring all the fans into the arena on a Super Bowl weekend that people are gonna go see football. They're not gonna go see boxing. So, with the boxers that were on the card, was not going to be a full house. So they bring the YouTubers, for business. I think it's a good thing. I don't mind. I don't mind if he's a main event. I don't mind if he's a co-main event. As long as he's there, he's selling tickets, the fighters and the coaches are getting paid.
All right, the next one is from Sony Woods. Says, hello, Mr. Diaz. Since the double fight bonanza of Joshua versus Ruiz, Mr. Ruiz has been in transformation form to some extent. Question. It was reported by the heavy-handed crew over here at the Boxing Voice that a possible fight for Andy Ruiz would be Mr. Dillian Whyte. I disagree. I believe because Whyte is now mandatory, his focus should be a title with maybe a tune-up beforehand. I believe a fantastic fight would be Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz. Your thoughts? # great trainers greatness.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know what? I think yes. I think going White going into a fight with Andy, it's a dangerous fight. I think he should take a tune-up fight, and I think King Kong and Andy Ruiz plays out for a fan-friendly fight and an exciting fight. I think Luis Ortiz and Andy Ruiz, for them to come back after their last fights, I think it's a great matchup, and then White can come back later.
All right. We have Big Face says, Big Face Worldwide. Thanks for coming on, Coach. Your son
Thank
was
you.
highly touted prospect before the fight against Prograis. Since then, we haven't seen much from him. What's the latest on his career?
Who?
He says your son. You have a son we don't know about boxing?
No, my son don't box. No, my son doesn't box.
He's talking about Joel Diaz Jr. He trained.
No, but Joel Diaz Jr. didn't fight Regis Prograis. So I guess that fan is confused. Next one is from Dual Ingram in Compton. Tim Bradley comes back now. Does he beat Adrian Broner?
After so long inactivity, well, you know what? Tim Bradley, it's the same thing right now. I think that if Tim Bradley will come back right now and get in shape, get one fight just to get back in action, get his timing back, and goes into an Adrian Broner, he will beat him because Adrian Broner is no longer there physically and mentally in the sport. Honestly, Adrian Broner is focused more on his lifestyle, so he's very distracted outside the sport than he is. Than he is 100% in the sport. That's the reason why I'm telling you, Adrian Broner is my friend as well. And I've always told him, hey, why don't you, get your act together, But I just see his attitude, his character outside of the sport is what distracts him to focus on the sport. And that's the problem with Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner, his last few fights, I even told him at one point, man, when he fought Mikey Garcia, I go, dude, if you want to be Mikey Garcia, just make him go back. Honestly, just don't walk back. Make him go back. And I was watching the fight, and every time he was moving Mikey back, he was dominating the fight in little ways. Mikey Garcia comes forward, he's always dominating you. But if you stop at one point and make him go back, things can change because Mikey's just coming forward, and he did. But like I said, a boxer is destroyed by his issues outside the sport. If you could be a great fighter, you could be the best fighter in the world, but your lifestyle outside the sport is what really ruins your career.
All right, we have Israel in Oklahoma says, thanks for coming on the Boxing Voice. I like to see Madrimov quickly making a name, and I was lucky enough to see him fight live in Dallas. On the HBO commentary of the Bradley Ruslan fight, they mentioned you and Freddie wouldn't be having dinner together anytime soon. Was there some animosity between you, or was that just some colorful commentary regarding the battle? When you're next in Oklahoma, lunch on me.
You're talking about me and Freddie Roach?
Yes.
Yeah. I think he's referring to the, little beef.
The commentary, I guess Jim Lampley might have said that after that fight, you and Freddie won't be having dinner, so he's just wondering if there's anything there.
You know what? Freddie and I we had little things when the Bradley fight went on, but nothing personal. It's just part of the business. I've seen Freddie a couple of times recently, and no problem. I have a lot of respect for the man. Honestly, I have a lot of respect for Freddie Roach. I think he's a great man. He did a lot for the sport. Thank God he did what he did. Manny Pacquiao and every fighter that he's had in the wild card gym. When Bradley and Pacquiao, yes. Freddie Roach is a fighter that is a trainer that likes to get in your head just to distract you, but he doesn't mean it in a bad way, and I know him. After the fight, we ran into each other in Cancun. We're in the same dressing room. Hey, Freddie, how you doing? Everything's good. I ran into him. As a matter of fact, one time, Fantasy Springs Casino here in Indio, there's a sandwich place that everybody goes to. One of the best sandwich places in town. And the owner is my friend. One day I walk in there to get a sandwich, and as soon as I walk in there, everybody's looking at me like they're scared. Because when you order, there's a wall behind where you order, and then on the back there's a sitting area for people. So as soon as I walk in the restaurant, even the owner look at me and he's like, I see him like a little bit of worried. And he comes to me. He gets from behind the counter and comes to me and says, "Hey, coach, how you doing?" I go, "Hey, I'm good. So you're gonna eat here?" "Yeah." And then he gets nervous. I go, "What's going on?" He goes, "Oh, Freddie Roach is here." I go, "Oh, good." So then Freddie Roach is always with, I don't know, I remember his assistant or lady is with him, Asian lady.
Marie,
She comes,
right?
Yeah, that's it.
So she comes and she goes, "Hey, how you doing?" And she gives me a hug. "Hi, yo." And then Freddie comes. "Hey, Freddie, how you doing?" So everybody's like, wow, I shook his hand and, "Hey, Freddie, anything you need, here in India, it's my house. Hey, anything you need, let me know. Hey, I'm glad you, oh, thank you." Everybody was like, they thought we had, no, everything's just part of the business. We are trainers. We are professionals. Sometimes we have to, act a little different to hype up a fight or whatnot. But you know what? I'm very respectful with everybody. I will never disrespect anybody. I have no problems with any coaches. As a matter of fact, I was really, really, really mad. I was really mad when Freddie Roach had that problem with Alex Ariza, and he got kicked and stuff. I mean, to me, honestly, that was not right. I mean, regardless, I would never get to that extreme because I respect everybody in the sport. Freddie Roach is a legend, and I would never get to the extreme. The man deserves credit and respect. That's it.
We got a few more if you still have time. J-Mac in New Orleans says, at 147, who do you have beating Terrence Crawford and how and why?
Honestly, I don't see anybody right now. I don't see anybody at this point right now. Maybe a couple years from now when Terrence starts fading a little bit. Eventually, everything has a beginning, everything has an end. Eventually, Terrence Crawford is going to start aging. But right now, I think he's still there. He still needs a couple more years when he starts maybe going downhill. But right now, he's still sharp. That guy stays in shape. He's a clean kid. One of the most important things about fighters is if you're a clean athlete, your career is longer. A lot of fighters finish their career at a real young age, not due to the sport. It's the lifestyle, alcohol, parties. This and that, staying up late, that kills your body. I mean, all these athletes out there that are drinking, staying up late, partying day and night, that shortens your career. But if you're a clean fighter, I mean, you don't alcohol, no drugs, you're always, staying busy, you're athletic, your career is going to be longer. I mean, I've seen it many times.
We have Stonebone Boxing Colorado says, as a coach, what do you consider your greatest accomplishment in the sport so far in the sport of boxing?
I mean, Bradley. I mean, remember, Bradley made me and I made him. We made each other. We are two individuals that came from nothing and went up to the biggest stages of the boxing world, fighting Manny Pacquiao twice. And beating Juan Manuel Marquez. I think those are the biggest accomplishments in my career as well as his. Recently, Lamont Roach fights Jamal Herring, and I was helping with Lamont Roach. Tim Bradley was commentating that fight. And I came in there the day of the weigh-ins. I'm in the bathroom by myself. And he walks in. And he's like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, champ." Give him a hug, whatever, How you doing? Good. He says, "You with Roach?" "Yeah." He goes, "Man, really?" And he starts asking me, has he done any sparring with any of these Uzbeks? "Yeah." "Wow, so it's going to be a good fight." "Yeah, hopefully." And he's telling me, "Man, you got a good guy." And I'm like, "You watching what I do?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "These Uzbeks you got, they're really good. They're tough. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. All right, champ. See there, he leaves, So Tim Bradley is... He's always going to be part of my family, honestly. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about Bradley. He has a big heart, and I am where I am because of him. And I think that I was a big element in creating his career. He told me a couple times, "Coach, if it wasn't for you, this wouldn't happen. If this wasn't for you," honestly, growing up in the sport, I told him, "Hey, Tim, this is what I want you to do. I want you to start dressing differently. Be more professional in the way you dress." Okay, and he started, wearing his suit, his tie. I don't want you to dress like any ordinary person. I want you to dress clean and present yourself always clean. He did. I told him at the beginning, hey, when you start generating a little money, I want you to start investing. I want you to open up an LLC. And he started doing it. That's why right now I'm very happy that he is where he is and he's living good. He's got a couple restaurants in town. He's got a few properties there, and I'm really happy for the kid, honestly.
All right, we have Info Joe in California says, "What up, Coach? Who are your top 5 favorite fighters from any era?"
My top 5. Honestly, I'm going to tell you, to me, the best fighter ever, and I will never forget, to me, was Marvelous Marvin Hagler. I'm a big fan of Marvelous Marvin Hagler. I mean, since the time I met him back in 1985, I took a picture with him. I followed him, and honestly, when he fought Sugar Ray Leonard, I cried because I thought he won the fight. I was a kid, and I watched the fight, and watching the fight, I was so excited, and I thought he won the fight. The fight with Hagler and all those fights, and then from there I go with Julio Cesar Chavez, Marco Antonio Barrera, and many other fighters. I mean, Canelo is on my list because I like a kid that came from the streets of Guadalajara and just worked his way around and debuted at a really young age as a teenager, fighting men. And he is where he is now due to his hard work, discipline, and determination. Those are some of the fighters in my list that I will always remember.
So it looks like, let me see, I think we have 2 more. Jemmy in Delaware says, "Does training fighters mentally or physically drain you? And if you had Mayweather money, would you still be training fighters?"
Well, I don't have the money, that's why I don't know. But a lot of people really fall into that comfort zone where they have a lot of money and they're like, it's like this. I always tell the fighters, you gotta be hungry from beginning to end. You have to. You have to be hungry from beginning to end. In my experience, I made a little money. The fight with Pacquiao, Marquez, Bradley Pacquiao, I made some decent money. Not Mayweather money, but even though it's a big difference from where I was before to where I am now, I still wake up at 5:30 in the morning, take the guys running, come back, and I'm always on top of everything, make sure that the job is done. I go to the gym at 11, and I come back home at 5. And if I'm not there watching what's happening, I don't feel comfortable. That's what I'm trying to say about you got to be hungry from beginning to end. I can easily say, you know what, I'm okay. Hey, have my brother do it. Have my brother take the fighters to run. Take them. But it's not like that. That's the mentality of a person that wants to keep doing and generating champions. And when a fighter starts fading, is because he feels he has it, and that's the way it goes. You gotta be hungry all the time. I think you have to. I get drained not by training. I love it. I enjoy it. I'm in the gym and I'm having a good time. I'm training the fighters. I'm teaching. I'm correcting, and I'm making sure that they're listening, because in that corner I am the voice. And I always tell my fighters, remember, I'm the voice you gotta listen to. So the only time I'm drained, and I always tell my fighters, when I'm in that corner. In the fights, after every fight, I'm drained. It seems like I fought because I'm fighting with them. Going back to being a trainer, a former fighter or not, it's a big difference. Me as a trainer, I'm watching everything in that corner. I'm watching the opponent, what he's doing right, what he's doing wrong, and I'm watching the corner to see what they're doing over there. So it drains me only at the fights, not at the gym. At the gym, I enjoy it because I love it, and that's something that I do with a passion.
All right. Greatness in Harlem says, bless morning, Coach. Appreciate your time. My question is, what's your thoughts when you see a Southpaw fighting an orthodox fighter?
It's just like anything else. Me as a coach, I got to figure out that there's Southpaws and there's orthodoxes. So we got to prepare for it. At my gym, I have Southpaws, orthodoxes. So it's a little different, but it's workable. I mean, we've done it for many years. I mean, Southpaws are a little more complicated because you don't see them oftenly. They come once in a while. So you got to practice. It's just a matter of just putting up a great plan of attack. Akhmadaliev, Southpaw. Melakusiev, Southpaw. Madrimov, he switches lefty and righty. Like I said, we just have to, study the fight, study the fighter, and put up a great plan.
Last one, JT, New Orleans. Earl Spence at 160. Can he beat Canelo?
No. No. Let me tell you why. I mean, a lot of people asking me a question. I did a couple of interviews earlier this week, and they're asking me, what do you think about Terence Crawford and Earl Spence? Terence Crawford will beat him, a decision. Okay? And the reason why is because I analyze a lot of things. You gotta do your homework. When Earl Spence fought Mikey Garcia to me is a 135, 140 pounder, not a 47 pounder. I mean, that fight, if you go back to the fight a week after, it seemed like the winner was Mikey Garcia. Nobody gave credit to Earl Spence. Everybody's like, wow, Mikey Garcia went 12 rounds with a welterweight, solid, strong fighter. I mean, Earl Spence, if he's as strong, physically strong as he is, and he's a great fighter, he should have just walked through Mikey Garcia. No respect. Go through him. Mikey Garcia was very, very cautious, just trying to pick his shots. And to me, all the comments I saw after the fight for a week or two, everything was Mikey. Oh, Mikey did great against Earl Spence. Mikey went 12 rounds with a... And what happens is this. This is a coin toss. Mikey Garcia goes in the fight against Earl Spence and wins. He becomes a superstar of the moment because he beat a welterweight in his prime. Okay? But if he loses, it's okay. That's not his division. He'll go back to where... That's just the way it goes. But I don't see Earl Spence beating a Canelo Alvarez, honestly.
Now, obviously, you're busy with life and training, so you might have missed Earl Spence's most recent interview, but it came out yesterday or the day before, and he said for the Mikey fight and the Sean Porter fight, he just struggled to make weight. He wasn't living the life of, like you said, a clean fighter, and he was coming into camp 189, 185, so he had, 35 or more pounds to lose for both of those fights. He just didn't feel himself in terms of power. He said he would stop Mikey, but he struggled to make weight. He talked about sauna suits and all type of stuff.
Exactly. See, he could have, but he didn't. And that's the thing. You regret your indiscipline from, after things happen. But for a fight like that, he should have proven the point. Like, go in there and execute Mikey. But due to his undisciplinary actions, he didn't do it. Now, okay, if he's struggling to make 147, that means that he's going to move up to 54. At 54, he's going to have problems. All the fighters at 54.
Well, he said struggling in the past because of, believing his own hype, so to speak. He says now, even in COVID, he's training. He's already lost 15 or more pounds. He's not eating. He spoke of a lot of stuff. Like he said, I'm the type of guy I need to stay in my house because if I go to your house, I'm checking your fridge. So we got a lot of new information from him, but he says, I'm a changed man. The accident has given him a different type of perspective on life, and he no longer wants to live like that. He's living clean. There's only water in the fridge. He's treating COVID as a training camp, and he believes, he'll be 100% moving forward because,
Well, look,
I guess a near-death experience, Joel. Near-death experience.
Right now, at this moment, he's at home. There's no friends around him. Well, let's see. Let's see when everything, God willing, everything goes back to normal, when all his friends start coming around, and you know how it is. And this sport is this. Fame generates money. Money generates friends, and friends generate problems. Let's see. Right now, obviously, he's isolated. He's at home. But let's see when everything goes back and the light switch goes on, and see where it goes. But hopefully, like I said, hopefully he learned his lesson. But I just think he's a strong physically fighter that could generate a lot. But moving up to 160 for a Canelo, I don't think he'll beat Canelo, honestly.
Well, Joel, man, you've given us enough for a lifetime. We want to thank you, obviously, for your time and for being a great sport, waking up early and just talking some boxing. You've answered all our questions and the people's. If you want to give out any social media for anyone that isn't following, you can do so. Actually, wow, I can't believe we're going to let this go. We really didn't get into Joseph Diaz Jr. at all, but better topic, Alejandra Jimenez. That's your fighter. Where are you?
Alejandra Jimenez is not my fighter.
No?
What it is? No, she's not. Alejandra Jimenez, I've known her since she was like over 300 pounds when she started boxing back in Cancun. The relationship between Alejandra Jimenez and me is this. I work with Pepe Gomez. Pepe Gomez is a promoter in Cancun. And I train a few of Pepe Gomez's fighters, like Joseph Aguirre. I used to train Roberto Massa Ortiz, and I'm still training Oscar Duarte, who was part of that team. So me going to Cancun for those fights, back and forth, I met Alejandra Jimenez out there, and she fought a couple times. And just met her, great person, great human being, and we became friends. So when she got to the level of championship fight with Franchon, Pepe Gomez contacts me and says, "Hey, coach, I need a favor." "Yes, what's up, Pepe?" He says, "Alejandra's fighting for a world title against Franchon. And, her team has never been at that level, championship level fights. I would like for you to help me in the corner with her. And, just be there as a cut man, as an advisor, what you see and whatnot." That's all I did. So I went to Texas to help as a cut man and as an advisor, just to help to be a second hand in the corner. Simple as that.
Okay. So I guess we can't ask you all the juicy questions about, her testing, because we had Mauricio Suleiman on yesterday, and he said it's a bizarre situation because she tested negative 4 times but positive 1 time. So they're still investigating the situation.
Yeah, like I said, it really hit me because I'm against all that. We went to Texas, and she won the fight. Whatever help she got from me, little or lot, whatever, it was great. The outcome was great. She became a world champion, and just coming back home and getting hit with the news that about that performance enhancements, it really hit me to the point where I don't have communication with her.
Mm-hmm.
So I directly called Pepe Gomez. I said, "Pepe, what's going on? Is this true?" He goes, "I don't know." He's like, "We took her to do a test and it's negative. So what's going on?" So we're fighting. I go, "Man, come on, Pepe. This is not looking good, because I go to a fight and I don't want to be involved in a fight or a team that are using illegal substances,
Mm-hmm.
And that makes me part of the team because I was in the corner. No, we're still looking into it. I don't believe it's true, but we're going to go for it, And she came to me and she cried and she said that she's not like that. So that's, as far as it is, up to now, I'm like you guys. This is all I know.
Got you. Yeah, we've actually had Franchon on as well, and man, the whole situation was just so messy. But again, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time. Thank you for waking up with us. I mean, just so many great stories. Like I said earlier, I cannot wait for you to eventually write that book because, man, it's going to be a read. I'll tell you that. But thank you. And if you want to give out your social media, you can do so at this time.
Oh, well, I'm on Instagram, Coach Joel Diaz, and that's about it. I really don't have much time for that. I'm always training. As a matter of fact, I have a kid that runs my Diaz training camp on Instagram as well.
Awesome.
I have a kid that runs Diaz training camp on Instagram, and also I have a camera guy with us at the gym every day. He does videos on YouTube. It's called El Rey News. You can find it on YouTube on El Rey News. You can find videos of the training, the fighters I got. Constantly, every day, he's loading up. He's downloading videos of fights, fighters, training, everything. So if you go to YouTube and watch El Rey News, you can watch all the videos of all my fighters, what we do in training, everything. And then, you got Coach Joel Diaz, which is my personal Instagram, and Diaz Training Camp as well.
It's
Awesome.
the Diaz Training Camp. Just found it. Yep.
Mm-hmm. It has my logo on it, a Diaz Training Camp.
Mm-hmm.
You guys will see it, and you guys are going to see a lot of the things that are happening in my camp constantly.
All right. Well, Joel, man, thank you once
good.
again. I just followed it. I want to go ahead and thank you. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Well, take care, Joel. I'm going to go ahead and bid you goodbye. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Joel Diaz, big-time trainer, giving us everything. I always feel awkward removing him from the call, right? He's like, they're like, I don't want to hang up on you, dog. Like, go ahead.
No, definitely. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, it's worth it, though, because, man, these Skype interviews are just so much better. I mean, it's a little, it can get a little awkward in the sense, like, I apologize, everybody watching this on YouTube and Patreon. I wasn't aware that, I knew that the Skype background happened, but I didn't think it would happen when somebody else is talking. So, I figured that out. But, I just, like you said the other day, you don't want to smoke in front of Suleiman. Like, I don't want to be blowing my nose in front of, the guest. And I was like, yo, let me duck out. I'm just going to blow my nose. And yeah, man. But it's worth it, though. Very much worth it.
Shout out to Joel for mentioning one of my faves, man. Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Oh. Newark, New Jersey, Brick City. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, let's see what we got here. We got to get out to, I guess, everyone else and get everyone's opinion on what's going on. And basically, we're talking still Floyd Mayweather Jr. and the fact that he looks like a changed man. We believe our Uncle Roger Mayweather is the reason why. And he's taking a page out of many of our episodes. He's training his own stable, promoting his own stable on his very heavily followed Instagram with over 23 million followers and giving guys like Rolly the exposure needed. Secondary, obviously, we had world-renowned trainer, coach Joel Diaz. 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 one time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Don't forget, add Nestor Gibbs. Be part of that Patreon Daily Show Skype chat.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations.
Right.
For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Fan, that was like an hour with no puff. Like, hour and a half ski.
Chat like, yo, Ness, with a blunt.
Easy. Dempsey, what's up, Dempsey? You listening live? Where the hell are you? Are you in Cali? Come over. Yeah, 818. Yeah, I was right. I think. I hope that I'm right. Let's see where we going. We're going to New Jersey. In Essex. What up?
Just like the king is what I mean. The king is what I mean.
Yo.
What up?
Yo.
Chan.
Okay, fellas, I'm glad y'all can hear me. Listen, shout out to Marvin Hagler, Newark, New Jersey's own, right? You know what I'm saying? But, y'all got right to my question, right? Right to my question, and before it even got asked, which was dope because there was a lot of controversy around the time of the whole Bradley, Pacquiao, Provodnikov went down. But I think Joel Diaz gave a great interview, gave us a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, and just so far it's just been a great show, fellas. He touched on something that, how these new fighters, how I think when he said something, I'm drawing a blank because I got these kids fucking with me. He said something about, like, when these new fighters, or like they don't train as much.
Lids low, Decatur, Georgia, but I know what you're talking about. That's when he started to overemphasize that his fighters come into shape. Anyway, the Uzbekistan fighters, Eastern European fighters. But Liz Low, Decatur, Georgia, what up?
What's that, man? Y'all can hear me, man?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool beans. First of all, shout out to y'all, fella. And I just want to make this clear. Like, when people call in and say great interview and shit, bruh, that shit be dead at, excuse me, cousin, I forgot y'all, you know. That don't be dead. It be fine. You feel me? Like, y'all really, y'all just fine. I'm just going to leave it at that. Shout out to the Patreons for the questions, man. Y'all keep coming with that shit because y'all keep this shit hot, too. Oh, not because I'm tripping, my bad. But Mayweather, I think he will be a great trainer. That Roger did do something to him. You know, I always been a fan of Roger. As far as Joel, yeah, he did a great interview, bro. Like, I like when you have real solid cats on like that, dog. You can't fail with that because they give you that 100. He broke down the Bradley and all. So again, shout out to y'all, man. Y'all keep it rolling. And shout out to the Patreon. And if you ain't on Patreon, go on and get on that thing, man. Get your questions answered. You dig? I'm out there count.
Yo, shout out to the Patreon questions for real. Like, man, they always ask such great stuff.
Yeah, they definitely. I was shocked that no one asked the Alejandra or Joseph Diaz question. It was crazy.
I know, me too. It was at the end. I was like asking Doomy in the background, like, "Yo, did we even ask about Alejandra? Because I don't think we did."
I know so he was shocked that we didn't go Joseph Diaz when that's a world champion that he got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No. It was just so, he had so much information to offer, and it kind of lifted up some of the questions that we had, being as though we just did the film study, and he gave us the backstory, bro. That backstory, and these are the untold stories, man. That people do. Unless Joel would have told us, we would have never known.
Man, what you mean? I told y'all this story yesterday, and y'all try to overlook it.
I'm talking about the intimacies of the story, and that's not what you said.
I gave you the details, bro. I told you they.
That's like I did it.
They had death threats. I said it all, bro. That shit was out there.
You about all that, Ness? We talking about the intimacies of what he was saying, bro. Go over here like with your chest out.
Yo, let me start from the bottom to the top, man. The top always ain't ready, man. They hard working at the top. I gotta go backwards. Stone Bone Boxing. Not to say you ain't hard working, but you got your own business, so he's available always.
Oh yeah, man. I'm always on my up and up. I work for myself, so I work my own hours, determine when I work and when I don't work. But I work for myself, so I'm working 24 hours a day. Just because I ain't doing something, don't think I ain't working. A lot of people confuse working for yourself as you don't got to work. That's why most people fail, because they don't put in the work. But shout out to Joel Diaz, man. I like guys who love boxing. You can tell, you know what I mean, those trainers that love boxing. You know what I mean, the Buddy McGurts, and you can see Ness' face. He was looking like, I better get this going. If not, we're gonna be talking to Diaz for like 4 hours in this motherfucker. You could just see, you could tell how much they love boxing and how comfortable they get. They get to telling you, you know what I mean, like they get to giving you those jewels. You get to learn what we talked about the Bradley, where he was trying to prove something, and that's the mistake a lot of guys do, where they don't just beat.
Definitely, man. Bradley was on his mission to prove, bruh. And it was sad. I did need that story, though, because for whatever I had it made up in my head that Bradley and him broke up after the Ruslan, I forgot they had the actual...
The Vargas.
Marquez,
I mean, not
Marquez.
Yeah,
Fight.
Marquez.
Fight.
Yeah, Marquez.
Crazy. My dog is wailing right now. She trying to jump on my lap. Sid, talk to us, Orlando.
What up, man? Shit.
What up?
Shit. Everybody need to like the video. Just made it home. Chilling. Don't really know what's going on and listening, but yeah, I'm out.
All right. Let me go to... Stay in Florida. Let's stay in Sunshine State, man.
El gran campeón puertorriqueño,
You got any excuses tonight, Roy? Let's not ask questions like that. Let's touch the gloves and go to work. Tonight, Roy. Let's go to work.
Yo, what up, Ness? I was just listening, man. Good interview though, man. Appreciate you.
No problem. We got JT, New Orleans.
So interesting that you come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit. Hey, with that comment. Come on. No, that was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit. You know, we're doing live TV. Man, I don't care. What you gonna do about it?
I'm killing this mother. Why do you have to talk like that?
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you. You have a problem, turn off your station. I'm the best ever.
Yeah, what's up, Neff? What's up? Good morning.
Good morning.
I liked the interview. I was listening to it. He answered my question. I ain't like the response, but I mean, I still think Errol beat Canelo at 160. But besides that, the topic, I thought you was talking about that Floyd supposed to be fighting Adrian Broner. You heard about it?
Nah, man. But like that we gonna talk about that on Friday when we get the dude to keep making up all those rumors on, which is Maurice Lee. Maurice Lee is the one running around saying that he fighting Earl on the undercard of Floyd versus Broner. Come on, man. Only people they want hits is doing them shows, man. I don't believe in that shit.
I don't think Errol no undercard fighter no more. So just me being honest. But besides that, I don't really got nothing else, man. Any other topic y'all was talking about?
Nah, I mean, you only got no seconds left now. So, but I'm with you, champ. I don't believe that. What happened is Ellie Setback has a very big channel, so you know he ran with that fake title, and you know people out there doing videos. I even seen Barbershop do a video on it. I don't get it, man. Like we all know that's not the fight, let alone, you know, Earl on the undercard. I mean, that just don't it ain't making sense for me. Jay, Colorado, what up? Jay in Colorado going once. Jay in Colorado going twice. All right, going out to Kevin in Chicago.
Who was that clown who said Lomachenko's ancestors had anything to do with slavery? He was born in war-torn Ukraine.
Bro, I don't know what you're talking about. We had no caller even speak of Lomachenko, champ.
I know, but that was just a ridiculous statement. Ignorance in it.
Yeah, but where are you getting this statement from? Try to talk about stuff we spoke on the show. Please don't use our platform to speak of especially ignorant stuff from another platform. Thanks.
You dumb niggers.
Oh, now we see. Oh, wow, Kevin? Really? Kevin's a racist. Now we know not to go to him.
Wow.
Going to Izzy, talk to us.
Oh, man, I got to follow that guy? Jeez, man. Oof.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Oh, that's ugly. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I will say great interview, Nez, as per usual. I say that every time. You two more. All the questions were good. He went in deep on all the Patreon questions. Just a quick aside. Sony has officially challenged me to a Friday battle tomorrow, so that is on. We'll see what happens. I make no promises, but I think y'all know what's going to come. Y'all have a good day.
All right.
You got it.
I don't understand what makes people get that angry that they feel like they need to, you know.
I mean, it's crazy, bro. Like,
Info Joe, California.
Mr. Info Joe.
This portion of the show we call In the
Mr.
Know,
Info Joe.
presented by my brother.
Yo, good morning. What's up, my boxing brothers?
What up, champ?
Hey, man, that shit just threw me the fuck off, man. What that dude say from Kevin from Chicago? Man, ban that motherfucker, man.
Yeah,
man. What the fuck wrong with him, man? Motherfucking lost his motherfucking mind. He came to the wrong motherfucking channel. You tripping.
Yeah, man.
Damn, let me get back on my shit, man. Damn, great interview, man. Great questions from all the Patreons. Hey, man, I never knew that the Pac fans was that motherfucking bad, man.
Yeah, man.
I never knew that they. Oh man, that was all bad. Damn, man, that shit threw me off with that fool from Chicago, man. This is what I want. Who do y'all think got the best intros, man? I think it's Stainless and J Mac, man. That's what.
Yeah, I
Who
would
you
say
got?
Stainless.
Yeah. But that's all I got, man. That shit kind of fucking me up right now, man. I don't like that shit. Go to the next caller, brother. Peace to all y'all, man. All the righteous, real motherfuckers out there.
For sure, yeah, man. Some people just lonely, and
Yeah, for real. I mean, like you're by yourself, and you just thought like, yo, I'm gonna come and make a fool of myself, like,
no,
for
which is
what?
sad. It's just sad. He's actually been listening to the show for years, so it's like now we find out like you're undercover. Like
For real.
you're the type of person that uses the word like undercover, and it slipped up, and now you're like your true colors. It's just sad, you know what I mean? Because again, he's been a caller for years. So
Yeah.
it's crazy. Harlem, Getty, what up? Harlem, Getty, going once, twice. All right, we're going out to Steve, Chicago. What up?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How are
Hey,
you,
man,
brother?
I cut out before the... All right, I'm doing good. Hey, I cut out before the interview, and then I had to go do something, and I came back. He was on for like an hour and a half. I got to catch it back on the rewind.
Yes, he was, man. He gave
Yeah,
us
it
some
was
gold
great
too.
too. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I came back on. I couldn't believe you guys were still on the show.
Yeah,
I
man.
thought the show was over, and then I come like, man, they're still talking. All right, man. I just was like, man, I couldn't believe that interview was an hour and a half.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, he gave us a lot of good stuff.
A lot of great stuff. Let me get out to Caesar, Las Vegas. All right, looks like Caesar's just listening. That is everyone. NestGTO, Instagram, and Twitter. Catch us on the next one. We'll be back tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. We have at 7:30, trainer of Canelo Alvarez, Eddie Reynoso. And we're also going to have Jack Reese at 8 and Chris Colbert at 8:30. And honestly, because it's Eddie Reynoso, I'm thinking we might be on the main channel, right? Because I got to get that relationship built with Eddie so we could get Canelo. It might take a day. It might take a week. It could take a month, even a year. But we need to start now. So I don't know that keeping it Patreon only, this particular one, because of Eddie, is the right thing to do, but we will decide.
We at least have Patreon only for the questions. So at the end of the day, still showing love to Patreon.
Which is a lot, and I'm gonna say on this show that I might not make it to you. I mean, honestly, there's like so many.
I think people understand too, you know what I mean? Like we got tons of, I mean, he's been the topic of discussion for so many topics for us over the past, I mean, even 30 days, but let alone, the past few years. So, yeah, it'll work out well. I'm positive of that. But at Maury Munguia on Instagram, at Maury Munguia on Twitter. Yeah, man, catch us tonight. Jam-packed show. It's gonna be a good one.
Yo, listen to Jemmy's like, yes, please. Listen, man, I would love that, we could be on YouTube and equally be supported on Patreon so that it makes sense. It's just difficult. Lids low, man. I'm gonna go to you, but keep it clean.
I feel you. Hey, to the shouter who called in with the nigga shit, bruh. Hey, I ain't even been in Border Wars before, and this, I don't even know if you want him on there. But shout out, I'd take him at a catch weight. I don't even know what weight he is. But I don't do that racist shit, shout out. I don't do the racist thing. I'm from Georgia, you dig? So I want to see about Buddy. So see if he down with getting it in.
You know that is not going to be the case. But I hear you, man. I hear you. I would be
we've had trolls
surprised to
forever.
meet.
Like they come and they go, and I mean, but you're right. Like Kevin is not a dude who I would have ever considered like a troll. Like that's
I mean,
don't
he
know,
always
bro.
trolled. He was always Eastern
Well,
European call heavy, but he
but
just
that,
never
to me
he
that
never
didn't make
came
him a
out the
troll,
closet.
though.
He just never came out the.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would definitely troll with his calls, bro. Believe me. But look, I just didn't know that he would take that route. Poor guy. You know what I mean? There was obviously something wrong with you if that's your mentality and the way you think. Look, we'll be back though. 7 p.m. Eastern time, flagship show. Like I said, we might take it to the big channel, a la Big Charlo, because we got to get the big guns. You know what I mean? We trying to get Canelo on here. Imagine we had Canelo. We would get that unfiltered, why no Charlo Andre answer. Even though he's answered it, to Spanish-speaking people.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, maybe we can make that happen for our community. That being said, peace.
Peace.